Friendship, as you're saying, is looking strong. They've got some really good contenders in the mix here. Like you said, Bus Moon from our previous tournament, really good players. So that's going to be a lot of pressure for Six on the Beach. I haven't seen too much in terms of Mop Garden or Lion AD coming through. So for me, at least, they're going to be a little bit of a wild card.
Yeah. I'm in a very similar boat to you there, but I have played with Sailor Ebby before. I believe they are beachy, actually. So
Correct.
they are very solid. And as we look over at Six on the Beach, we just saw them on broadcast. We also saw the highlight in our break that was so wonderfully produced as well. We had Baby Poro with a few nutty Zenyatta plays, that was. I didn't quite catch what they were playing in their previous match just before on air, but if they whip out the Zen again, it could get pretty scary.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They were running a very good Baptiste. She managed to bring out a lot of amplification matrices. So if they continue that, it's going to be pretty interesting. Now, moving into our round 2 of qualifiers, we're actually changing up the map pool a little bit there, Neeke. We're going to be starting on Busan and then moving into King's Row and finishing off on Junkertown.
Okay, so we started off on Lijiang, right? Busan and
Correct.
Lijiang, in my mind, are pretty similar either way, so it shouldn't be too different compositionally. I think that we could see a lot of Reinhardt on Mecha base as well, as always, but then the other 2 stages are just very open. You can kind of get away with whatever you want, and I think that will be kind of dictated by Bus and what they are feeling and what they are feeling with the team. I also do not know how much they've actually practiced together. So I don't know. They could have some like super secret strategies that we're just like, I don't know about. But that is also an option. But then we also saw a decent amount of Farah, was it, out of Corey? Or am I making this
Corey was running the Torbjorn. Yeah, Corey was running the Torbjorn a lot.
Okay. But Torbjorn's an interesting whole like can of worms on Control. I'm pretty sure we saw I think it was Jake in the Overwatch League used to do it a little bit. But they yeah, that could definitely work. There's a few sneaky angles that you could put that turret. You could also just use it to defend your backline. There's a few ways that you can play the old Swedish dude. But I think there's not much else that we can really say until we just get into this game, Oparer.
Yeah, absolutely right. It seems like Six on the Beach, they like the Reinhardt sort of style, but they showed a lot of energy when they ran Winston D.Va. Mutnik really showing good performance on the D.Va, so that could be interesting to see if they do opt to go for that, especially moving into Busan, where Busan is that map where you do have the high points where you can jump up to as Winston.
Yeah, and as we actually take a peep at the bracket that has just appeared on your screens, everyone, we can see the preview for our next game as well, which is Team FF versus Hubble Bubble. That should be really exciting as well. I'm excited to watch Hubble Bubble play again. I know, but that is our next game that will be coming up after this one as well. So we have a few games before we do that in this round 2 of our double bracket final.
Yep, no, definitely. We're going to be seeing who's going to be taking the wins to move into the semi-finals, which will be our last game of the night. But yeah, watching Team Friendship versus Team 6 on the beach, it's going to be pretty interesting. I'm really excited to see how both teams perform. You know, we just watched 6 on the beach. We're going to see Friendship coming in very shortly. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope we get some really good plays. Not many boop opportunities, but at the same time, we should be seeing some really good mechanical skill coming through.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. To see, because at the end of the day, it is some video games. We can do the old left click on the head and people go pew pew. So that should be really exciting as well. And I don't know if we've loaded in on stream yet, but we are starting off on Mecha Base, which, as I kind of mentioned, will be the place where we are most likely to see some Reinhardt. And that is being teased by Six on the Beach, but Bus is going in a completely opposite direction, and they are instead opting for the Wrecking Ball. But really crucially, they still play on a similar kind of principle. They do have the May from Mop Garden, so that will just be kind of used to isolate people in the many chokes that this map has to offer. And if someone like Dixon is a little bit too far forward, Mop Garden will definitely capitalize on that.
Absolutely right. Dixon is going to need to keep an eye on how they're pushing up as these doors are about to open up here. We see Bus is opting to run the Wrecking Ball, so yeah, definitely going to be getting up to point very quickly here as the teams sort of collide. Dixon searching around trying to find the team, but actually it seems like Team Twinship is opting to go across the bridge and try and find some value that way. Nothing too much going on, just a bit of a poke battle with all this distance going on right now, and it is kind of coming down to whether Lion, AD, or Mutton can do a bit of damage here. They're trying to find a pick-off, but really struggling to know exactly where to shoot, especially when there's this turret starting to harass Lion AD like crazy. The dynamite comes out onto Corey Wolfgang, but Corey Wolfgang actually takes out Mop Guard, and that is a huge first pick-off. That's exactly what Six on the Beach are needing to be able to take first point and start that point progress go along. Moon now has been able to bring back Mop Garden, but oh my gosh, the kills come through by Lion AD, taking out 2. However, Dixon is rolling over Mop Garden once again. Lion AD already got bombed straight off the map. That was an unfortunate play as Baby Poro finishes off Lion AD.
Yeah, and it looks like Bus is going to fall very soonly, but no, they actually do manage to get the mana boost up here, forcing the bomb out of Nutnik as well. It is unable to get much done there, and the minefield is on the card. But as I say that, the percentage is still just ticking up to 6 on the beach. So this is not at all bad for them at all. If anything, Bus is staggering it, because it doesn't look like they're able to turn it around. Yeah,
no, we do see Mutnik and Bus trying desperately to fight this out, and with everything that Bus is doing, the value's just not coming through as Mopbung does get taken out by Reaper. Valkyrie managing to get that kill, and with 1 or 2 kills every so often, they can finally just stabilize and regroup.
Yeah, it's actually a bit of a large shadow there coming out from Dixon, but no one manages to start from a really nice Valkyrie from Moonlit Charlie to keep everyone alive during that whole kerfuffle. Mutnik attempts the remake, doesn't quite find the value that they might like out of it, and it is Valkyrie who is taking a nap on the Reaper. But the Bob comes out now, the Bob is onto the point, that will be kicking that capture progress up.
Yeah, that Bob is going to be huge right now. Dynamite coming out onto it, by the looks of it, it was Ibby there struggling to stay alive, but Bus with a really good minefield, managing to take out Baby Poro there. That's going to make it really hard to keep this team up and running now. 6 on the beach, desperately trying to keep this point alive, continue getting that point progress. The turret is making it really hard for Bus to do any value, and with a Blizzard available, Mop Garden is able to get that point.
Yeah, it eventually does come through, but 95% is on the board for 6 on the beach. And as we look over at the ultimates now, the defense is looking like it has some potential for Twinship. They have the Blizzard, which is going to be really impactful, and Peachy with the Diva Bomb is also going to play a pretty big role, especially if they cannot back up because of like a Mayweather or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like Peachy's looking for a bomb opportunity. Nothing really coming through at the moment. Lion trying to take down the high bridge sort of opportunities for Valkyrie and Corey, and they do manage to take Corey out. Self-destruct comes out but gets blocked by Dixon's shield, and they're just going to try and take as much point presence as possible. Valkyrie now has the Death Blossom looking for where to use it, but with Bob on the field, it's going to make it really difficult for them to get that flip back. Lion AD now taking out Reaper, and another minefield from Bus is really good. Finishing off Reinhardt, they managed to hold this point.
Yeah, they do, and they still have a fair few tools left in the bank. Oparer. The Nano Boost is coming up for Zaz Attack, and it will also be the Blizzard still held onto by Mop Garden. And as everyone behind Dixon groups up behind that Rhine shield, it is very easy for them to be caught in a Blizzard. But it could be Mutnik getting the eat.
Oh wow, what a good eat coming through. Absolutely massive, and now with Nano available, Zaza is probably going to be able to get a little bit of value out of that. That Blizzard is going to have no value. Molten Core is, however, on the ground, and that's going to be burning through Peachy as Peachy gets taken out by Corey Wolfgang's Molten Core. Mutnik getting the kill onto Mop Garden, and now Ducky gets rezzed by, Dixon gets rezzed by Ducky even, that is going to bring Dixon back into the fight, and that point is going to start ticking over. Minefield onto the point to make sure that they cannot get too much more fighting going on, and yeah, Bus is just going to have to stall on this wrecking ball, but he doesn't survive, and that overtime is going to start ticking down. We do see Peachy just getting on with the self-destruct, but Dixon Shatter is big. The self-destruct didn't connect onto anyone, unfortunately, and then Ibby just gets denicked immediately. Bob comes out from Lion AD. They're throwing anything they can onto the point to try keep it alive, but the overtime is starting to tick down. It's getting very, very tough right now for Friendship to get any sort of value here, as that 99% is not flipping over and the kills are going in the way of 6 on the beach.
Whew. What a round right there. That's cleaned up very nicely by 6 on the beach. But it was not without merit from Friendship that round was actually taken. Bus had a few really neat plays on the wrecking ball. The mate from Mock Garden had some potential, but it might suffer a bit now. And as we go into like a bit of a more open map. But then on the flip side of that, we have Lion AD, who could really benefit from these longer sightlines when playing the Ashe. They still managed to find some pretty moderate success with it in that indoor space. So we can just like begin to imagine how much they'll benefit from these longer sightlines. And it is also a few compositional swaps coming in. It is Dixon looking like they are going to be electing to the Winston, and it will be Valkyrie going on the McCree, and it is Chorus staying on the Thor. Because I would recommend watching out for Lion AD, who will have the Mercy Pocket as well.
Yeah, Lion AD is going to be very valuable right now in terms of getting those picks. But Mop Garden starting off the fight onto Valkyrie, that is going to be huge for Friendship right now, as they do lose the McCree. That's so much damage gone. The Dynamite does get eaten by Mutnik. Mutnik knowing exactly what to look for to eat, but Corey Wolfgang is starting to take that point as the point has unticked. Finishing off Lion AD, Mutnik finishing off Moon, and Bus just desperately trying to find any sort of kill, but this point is going in the way of 6 on the beach at the moment, as it is just a bit of a stall out now.
Yeah, they managed to take it quite nicely at the end of the day, and another time that it is 6 on the beach opening up with that capture going in their favor. There aren't many ultimates on the field yet, but Bus will have that minefield coming up very, very soon. So that is probably the biggest tool available to the budding recapturers of Friendship, and here it is, that minefield is coming out very, very shortly.
Yeah, Bus is looking for it. He goes to the point, and that minefield lands so perfectly, trying to put a lot of pressure onto Alpha Chad, and Alpha Chad gets taken down. The block by Lion AD as well is good, finishing off Dixon. Those 2 picks are going to be really big right now as Molten Core comes out by Corey just to try and slow down anyone coming to point, and Mop Garden falls victim to the Molten Core. Peachy and Lion AD both finding those good picks though, and realistically it's just Corey Wolfgang desperately trying to find some value, keeping Mutnik in the game as well, because they're distracted by Corey, and Mutnik can stall for just a little bit more percentage here. Peachy gets the nano, flying around trying to find some damage, but also trying to get out of that huge self-destruct from Moon and Zaza stack. Peachy gets demacked, and Mutnik is going to be the savior of this point here.
Yeah, Mutnik landing a really big bomb to actually get that done. But now it will be Peachy who will have the chance to reciprocate that over here on the side of Friendship. But Ducky on the other side as well, just flipping back and forth with these ultimate potentials. Ducky does have that nano boost online. Imagine they will be giving that to Dixon, but you can't give it to them if they're dead apart.
Yeah, Lion finishing them off, now getting a kill onto Valkyrie. Bus taking out Ducky, and Lion AD taking out Alpha Chad. Lion with 3 on the board right now, absolutely walking over them. Doesn't need an ultimate when you can just press W and left click. Mutnik was the savior last fight, but with this D-Mech, no longer can keep this point.
Yeah, it's just not even like on the cards for 6 on the beach. They are finally conceding. And now we are looking at a very similar situation to what we saw on Mecha Base. It will be Friendship who has all the ultimates to work with again. And again, it is that Mop Garden's Blizzard, I should say. But then, unlike on Mecha Base, we do have 6 on the beach with a fair few tools in the tank here. Really crucially, I think is going to be the Nano Boost again. And alongside Dixon's Primal Rage, they'll be able to go so aggressive if they manage to survive this minefield.
Yeah, they have to get through that minefield, and Bus is putting on so much pressure. A good anti-nade means that Mop Garden can finish off Corey Wolfgang. So much damage coming through, and with Death Blossom available, they're trying to fight it, but gets stunned. Valkyrie manages to shut it down. Blizzard is going into the room now. They do all just get out, but Ducky gets frozen, manages to get saved by Mutnik with a lot of damage, and Moon bringing Lion AD back means that Lion can pop the Death Blossom, actually. Manages to get Ducky, but gets killed by Mutnik, and this is going to be a call to just play on point, play it safe.
Yeah, so I was talking about on Mecha Base how I was surprised that Bus is not rocking the Reinhardt, but the way that they are playing it in their whole composition, it still very much shapes like a Brawl comp. Because they still have that Reaper and that Mei, so they still just want to isolate someone and then just collapse on them when they're all there. So they can still play a very Brawler style even without the Reinhardt.
Yeah, good anti-nade coming out by Ducky. Does mean that Bus isn't going to be as aggressive as he wanted, but Corey Wolfgang's Molten Core, that's exactly what you want to see. Zazstack taken down and Dixon helping out with those kills as well. That point is now flipped back and we're into overtime. It's Sailor, Ebby and Bus desperately trying to find some kind of value here, but with Alpha Chat finishing them off, I don't know if anyone's going to be able to touch on this overtime, and first map goes to 6 on the beach.
I cannot say that I was expecting that Oparer, but they managed to just keep that momentum rolling in their favor. And we can take a little squiz at this play of the game here from all Mutnik on the D.Va. This would have been the 2K bomb launched really nicely into that choke, and it just catches the supports with their pants around their ankles, unfortunately for them. But yeah, really good play from 6 on the beach. I'm particularly impressed with their tank play and their tank chemistry. They just seem to be exactly on the same page and not much hesitation at all.
Yeah, I think they're getting a lot of value just from the fact that they're able to come in from playing. They know how they play together now. They're able to just come through and put on a really dominant performance. Now, we are moving into King's Row, and we might see Bus now opt for the Reinhardt. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. What do you think that Reinhardt is going to bring in terms of difference to this team comp?
I think that it is just screaming main tank difference. Like, I obviously love Dixon, and there's nothing against him, man. But this is Bus we're talking about. This is a professional caliber player. Yeah. And this is going to be a really tough battle, especially if that, because they call it the Ryan games, right? Like, if they get in their head, they're going to really struggle to just keep it going and actually manage to, like, not overthink everything and just play their normal game. But if they get taken off the beaten path, they being Dixon, I should say, it could really become an issue. And then, of course, the Reinhardt being like the pillar, the central pillar of each team, it'll just crumble around them.
Yeah, I think you are right. If that Reinhardt comes down, then it's going to be really hard for 6 on the beach to get value. Corey Wolfgang's Torbjorn, though, is bringing a lot of pressure to Friendship. That turret means that they just don't get the space that they are wanting. So maybe having a Reinhardt shield from Bus will be the play. The other thing Bus brings to Friendship is just the knowledge and capability to know how to path, knowing what the best strategy is to try and take on the team comp that they're facing. So I feel like Bus is going to be taking a lot of a leadership role as well.
Yeah, and especially from the main tank role, it is essentially unavoidable. We heard Avril talk about it in the interview, the impact that Shrewds was having, not only just with their gameplay, but also in the shot calling department. I actually did manage to tune into Avril's stream very briefly, and I heard that firsthand, and just the main tank is just so essential, particularly on King's Row when they are playing the Reinhardt, because the Reinhardt can control the pathing, they can also control that target calling as well, so there's so much emphasis on that player. And this could absolutely be a turning point for Friendship if we get into King's Row here.
Yeah, I really hope they are able to bring it back and bring us to a third map, which would be very exciting to see. Let's talk about Lion AD Mop Garden. They were on the Mei and they were on the Ash. Do you think they're going to bring that again? I think Mei would be fine in terms of King's Row, but Lion AD, do you think we're going to see something switch up here?
They were briefly playing the Reaper on, I think it was both stages, but I do definitely remember it on Downtown they were playing the Reaper. So that could definitely work in King's Row if you're playing very close range. But particularly on First Point, there are definitely options to play that long range hit scan. We've seen many a famous Widowmaker play an Ash translate obviously into that department on this map. So it's definitely an option, but I'm also keen to see some flexibility. I think a really big thing I also want to highlight quickly is throughout that whole thing, unless I'm blind, no team was actually running the Lucio there, and I think that will definitely that should make an appearance on King's Row because it just benefits the Brian so much. It just means you can engage quicker, you can disengage quicker, you can just do so many funky little things that I think it would almost be a throw to not run the Lucio if you're running that Reinhardt composition.
Yeah, having the speed to just run over someone is important. I don't know who would run Lucio on either of these teams. Potentially Zazastack for friendship. 6 on the beach. I think we've been seeing Ducky bring the Lucio out, but it hasn't been super prevalent. The Lucio hasn't been the main player. We've been seeing a lot of Baptiste, a lot of Ana, and a lot of Mercy coming, especially at least for 6 on the beach. Alpha Chad and Ducky. Alpha Chad has been consistently on Baptiste. Ducky going between Mercy and Ana. So it'll be interesting to see who opts for the Lucio between the teams.
Yeah, and I think that it could really be a difference maker because it's essentially comparison that I could make is like a pharmacy versus just a Pharah, right? Like there's obviously a distinct disadvantage to that single player that isn't being pocketed, and I think Lucio, when partnered up with Reinhardt, operates in a very similar way. So that could definitely be a a contributing factor here. But there's also just so many other things. I think we saw Mop Garden was definitely comfortable on the Mei, and as we saw from earlier games today, the Mei on King's Row can be absolutely pivotal. Hashtag rip Avril's Blizzard, because that was really unfortunate. I don't know if you saw the tweet of that apart, but a little bit of a stinker. It like fell down the map when he launched it. It was really sad. I absolutely bummed out about it. But we are on King's Row, ladies and gentlemen, and again, nothing is set in stone, obviously, but just from what we're seeing, Bus is still not opting for that Reinhardt and teasing out a Winston, but there's still lots of time for that to change.
I wonder whether it's the call that Ibby is more confident on the Diva, so they kind of want to run this dive. I don't really know what the call is, but it's interesting to see Bus not run the Reinhardt. We're so used to the Bus not stopping, and right now it's sort of just jumping around like crazy. But here we go. Immediate anti-nade onto the tanks of 6 on the beach and Corey Wolfgang as well. That's going to make it a little bit harder for them to push through, but they are just going straight in. So much damage going onto Ducky, and Alpha Chat finished off by Lion AD from that high ground. Ducky is desperately just trying to find a safety mechanism right now. Manages to find a health pack to stay alive because so much damage was coming onto Ducky, and this rotation is good. They're calling that they're going to come up, so don't let them meet you, because this is what a rush comp is going to do. It's going to find you and just run you over. I love the rotation we're seeing right now, taking this high ground, making sure that they are the ones uncomfortable. But Alpha Chad taken out again by Lion AD. Baby Poro really struggling to join in on this fight, and not having all of this heals is going to make it really hard for 6 on the beach to push in just the Mercy. But Mercy does have Valkyrie now because of all the healing that Ducky has been needing to do. We're going to see any kind of initiation attempt right now. They just managed to get... Oh, but Dixon getting taken out by Lion AD. This high ground pressure is devastating. We see Bob ready, Corey Wolfgang taken out. I think you just call a reset here, Neeke.
Yeah, that is so much time just like wasted off the clock, essentially, for the offensive 6 on the beach. Also, I want to give a massive shout out to Zazastack. I counted 4 like multi-person antis in that fight, and it's just helped them build up that nano boost, which will allow Bus to go so aggressive. Again, with the Primal Rage, they'll be able to use the damage reduction from the nano boost to just get in, and as they're on that sliver of HP, they'll pop that Primal at the last possible second. And also, just another massive nade from Zazastack.
Yeah, another huge nade. Bob comes in to follow up, and Bus is just jumping in with Eddie, taking out Dixon, mate. Out comes the Primal Rage, making sure that none of these remaining players can come through, and another biotic grenade onto Ducky. Zazastack knows how to use these nades so perfectly. Maybe we don't need a Lucio when these nades are just top tier.
Yeah, just another great nade to open up that fight. And we see 6 on the beach making a few changes. Corey has gone back to the tried and true Torbjorn, But I don't really understand how the Tourbillon will work here. Like, it will only just pressure Blast. Are they just going to use it as like a counter dive mechanism? I'm not really sure. It is Blast staying super aggressive, and another big nade to open up.
Yeah, Amplification Matrix trying to get a Fire Strike through, doesn't get too much, and Mutnick's bomb, I think that was a bit of a misclick there, didn't manage to get too much, or maybe they got demixed, they just got forced to use it, but Valkyrie pops a good Death Blossom Mop Guard and getting taken out here. We do see Ducky getting taken out by Bus getting aggressive, but Mutnick now finishing them off. A lot of dynamites getting thrown onto point, but one tick is now being captured. They're making the call to just give them a few ticks so that the rest of the players can come back. Bus is now here, bomb thrown onto the point. And so much damage means that Alpha Chad is taken down. Mutnick finds Bus once again, and the point is looking good now for 6 on the beach, but a huge Helix Rocket takes out 2 by Mop Garden. Mop Garden coming in really clutch right now, trying to make sure that this point is alive, but it was a little too late as they do capture point. Self-destruct, finishing off Ducky.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate for Ducky there. But even though we are moving on to point B here, Oparer, I just want to take a quick second to highlight how awesome I think that defense was from Friendship. Because obviously you have Bus, right? Who's just up in there, soaking all the damage and all the attention. And you obviously want to focus that character down. But then on the flip side, you have to worry about Zazastack, Moon, and Lion AD, who at the time was on the Ash, who are just up playing so many different high grounds and just creating so many different bonfires and so many places to look. And if you wanted to target Bus, you would have walked right into the line of sight of those snipers. It was really cool. And speaking of Bus, they are giving them out of it.
Yeah, Bus with the nano boost rolling over Dixon, mate, right there. Has the primal ready if they need it, but an amplification matrix coming out by Alpha Chad does mean that there's going to be a lot of pressure on Bus. Valkyrie finishing off Peachy and Mutnick burning through Zaz's stack. The healing is just not enough to keep the rest of this defense alive as Dixon is swinging, goes for the Shatter. Monkey does just manage to jump over it, so Shatter doesn't connect onto much, but the Death Blossom connected onto Mop Garden, and they are making the call, fall back, please. There's a self-destruct ready, you don't want to get hit by it.
Yeah, that would be devastating. And that is actually, speaking of devastating, that is a huge pick. The Tourbillon being down is just a whole lot of tankiness for this offense that is missing. The bomb comes through, doesn't quite manage to find anyone, and it looks like Mutnick is looking for the remap kill. They go for it on the high noon in the tree, but it's so close.
Yeah, remake kills on both sides were attempted, but nothing came through, unfortunately. Peachy now trying desperately to keep this defense held, and it's looking good now. Bus and Peachy really playing well together, keeping the team alive. Ducky's going to bring Mutnick back, and I think there could be an attack coming through right now with Valkyrie trying to get on this high ground. Yep, Dixon is going to start progressing forward. Bus gets the nano, jumps onto Ducky. Ducky takes so much damage, but a good lamp means that Alpha Chad can keep Ducky alive. Ducky just flying around right now. The anti-nade onto Puri Wolfgang means that Bus's primal is going to be perfect. Mop Garden pops the tech visor, finishing off Alpha Chad, and looking at this turret, it's putting so much pressure onto Bus, like you said, but it's not enough.
Yeah, that was a huge fight from Bus, just putting so much pressure on the supports of their opposition, forced the lamp out of Alpha Chad. Ducky doing a wonderful job of escaping, but it's just inevitable. And if you have that mana boosted and then primal raging Winston on you, there's not much hope for the Mercy there. But the offense, they do have a few utilities up their sleeve, and I think the shout-out from Dixon when it becomes online would actually be kind of good, because Bus will have to reserve that Winston shield for it, meaning that they cannot play quite as aggressive with their offense.
Well, Molten Core straight onto point means that they're not going to be touching. Mop Garden gets taken out from the lava on the ground, and they look at Bus and finish that off as well. The Amplification Matrix working out well to make sure that these remaining players cannot fight, but Lion AD thinks they can fight here as Corey Wolfgang finishes them off. Moon gets sniped down by Alpha Chad, and this point is now going to start progressing with just Peachy left trying to stall out, finished off by Dixon, and that's a cap.
Yeah, a bit of an overtime team, it looks like, for 6 on the beach. And now that slam that I was talking about, is online for Dixon. And they also have a few combo options into that. They can just have the raw damage. They also have a bomb that's coming online, and very swiftly, 2 will be a Death Blossom. Either of those combo things that can be really, really devastating.
Nano onto Bus. Bus gets aggressive and Lion follows up onto Ducky, getting the kill. A huge anti-nade means that Dixon's falling really low as well. Only the shield to keep him alive. Self-destruct's up and running, but lying on the ground from a huge shatter from Dixon. But the follow-up was not there. Zaza sleep kill onto Mutnik as they go off the map. That's a beautiful play right there.
Yeah, chuck that one in a montage or something, I don't know. But I was talking about there how Dixon has so many combo opportunities with the shatter, and I kind of just half-heartedly mentioned the raw damage, and it obviously wasn't enough. And I think a big factor to that damage just not coming through is one, a few people were down, but two, Moon was in that Valkyrie and was doing so much shit.
Lion pops a Death Blossom. It kills Valkyrie, but doesn't follow up to too much, unfortunately. Bus now getting really aggressive, and Alpha Chad probably will fall, trying to just bounce around. This fight in Spawn is really valuable for Friendship.
Oh no, and Dixon's down! That is an absolutely massive first pick. But if Ducky does get the resin, that might prove absolutely pivotal. And it is Corey opening up the fight with 2.
Oh, huge Molten Core from Corey, taking out Zaza's stack afterwards as well, trying to find Lion AD, but Dixon follows up Peachy with a good self-destruct in the Primal Rage from Bus. This could be the hold that you want. You want to get them off. They are looking like a bit of an overtime team, however, and Bus, jumping away. Peachy gets taken down by Mutnik. Bus desperately trying to find some kind of value, just waiting for the team. The Nano is alive now. Zazastack throws the Nano onto Bus. Bus breaks the immortality, and now it's going to be Dixon who's going to take so much pressure from Lion and Bus coming from both sides. You don't know what way to hold that shield, but realistically, you're staying alive from incredible support. Ducky pops and Valkyrie to keep them up. Mutnik takes out Lion AD, and this point can continue moving forward now. Peachy trying their best to absorb as much damage as possible, but Mutnik now finishes off Mock Garden as well. And with Dixon coming back, Bus is going to really struggle here. Res onto a Mock Garden. That's all that is going to be left to stall out, as this point may roll all the way through 3 points, but in overtime, Valkyrie finishing off Mock Garden, and that is going to be the cap.
It cannot be emphasized enough how huge that res on Dixon at the start of the fight was. Because if they went into that one without the Reinhardt, I think it was just gang set match there. It would have been so difficult to win that fight without the main tank. But even in defeat there, I just want to point out and just highlight how good Bus's Winston is there. Because again, it isn't the Reinhardt, it's played in the obvious, and at this point I'm not expecting the Reinhardt. I'm trying to cast a curse, but we move. No, but the Winston, like that leap cooldown is like 5 seconds, 5-6 seconds, right? And a lot of Winston players will let that dictate how often that they get to do work and have an impact on the fight. But even despite that cooldown, Bus is always doing something, always like hyper ready to engage, always positioning, just jockeying, trying to just do some cleave damage or anything. Just always getting as much impact on the Winston as possible, and that is the only reason that it is being successful at the moment. Only a player of Bus's caliber could get away with playing Winston here against a Reinhardt, and also a Reaper from Valkyrie and a Torbjorn. That is some very heavy Winston counters that are just being completely negated by Bus being really darn good at the video game.
We've also got to give a lot of credit to Moon and Zaza for keeping Bus alive so well. Like, Zaza's building a lot of nanos because of the amount of damage Bus is taking, so all around really cool to see. I'm really impressed with this team's capabilities right now in terms of running the Winston. We do now see Sailor Evie opting for the Zarya, so going for a little bit of double bubble. We'll see whether that's going to bring a lot more damage towards something like Dixon, and with a huge anti-nade to start off the fight, Zaza's been consistent with them. We're just going to be able to see Bus take so much presence onto point. Corey tries to get a little bit more aggressive, does a bit of damage to Dixon, but to Bus even. But realistically, the supports are just coming through like crazy. Zaza at 67 to Nano right now. Mutnik finds Moon up on the flank with Lion AD, manages to finish them up. And Mutnik now getting aggressive onto Lion as well. Zaza desperately trying to keep Lion alive, and actually Mutnik gets demet. Lion does get finished off by Alpha Chad, and the Nano onto Bus is huge. That's going to be a game changer right there, as Primal Rage also gets popped. Bus wants to finish this fight right now. Dixon, Ducky, both falling down. Valkyrie does finish off Ebby, but this fight could still keep happening.
Yeah, that was a really good example of how beneficial the Reinhardt shield would have been for the offensive friendship. Because it would have just allowed the Reinhardt to position there, take all the damage from the forward part, and allow the rest of their team to eliminate it. But they weren't quite able to get it done, and instead Bust had to retreat. So as always, they are right back in the mix, and a really nice dynamite vanity. Maybe even the Mercy as well there, so I guess they died!
Bob comes out, runs into Valkyrie's face. That's going to be devastating. Bob, Lion AD just going off. When you have two players playing for one team, that's going to be devastating. That was a huge play by Lion AD.
In the right direction.
Very, very large, and big credit there has to go to Mob Garden as well, who allowed that play to happen with a really nicely placed A wall, just right in the choke, just making any form of retreat impossible because there was A wall in the way. And staying on the topic of May, the Blizzard is online, and it could be really good here. They do have to be wary of the Mutnik defense matrix. They were caught out by that previously in this series, hoping to get away with it this time. They also have the Graviton Surge of Neeke coming online, so the Blizzard is eating again Mutnik. That is 2 for the big dog.
No, poor Mob Garden not able to use the Blizzard, and Blizzard's such a game changer. Shatter from Dixon is good as well. It doesn't get the kills, but it slows down the fight. Grab into 3, however, and an anti-nade with Buzz pumping in damage. Peachy finishing off these kills, and now Alpha Chad and Ducky desperately trying to find something to stay alive here. Lion AD finishing off these kills. That was a good fight from Queenship.
Yeah, they played it so nicely, and there was so much cleave done into that initial Graviton Surge, and then the anti-nade from Zazastack, who, I'm just going to keep on saying it, she is having a phenomenal game on this Ana. And then it was just Peachy on the Zarya, high energy, able to clean that one up, even after their main tank did fall. So just really good team play all the way around. Dixon is just trying to get something done, and it is the fault from Lion AD once again apart.
Lion's going off, getting a 2k with Bob right now. Bus is primarily, but doesn't really need to do too much as Bob takes out another one onto Mutnik here. That's just insane. Lion AD really putting on a performance with the Ashe right now.
Yeah, absolutely just being the highlight player so far, but you cannot take away the effort that the team is putting into allowing Lion AD to get away with all of this. And we finally see some pressure being put onto the Ashe. That was Mutnik going up to the high ground. But as always, Bust on the initiative is just dealing with that Ashe, letting that high ground be kept for the hit scan.
Molten caught on the point, making it hard for Bust now to try and fight. But realistically, that is going to be the way of a good dynamite to Valkyrie, and then Lion AD finishing off Corey Wolfgang as well. Lion AD popping in so much damage right now with beautiful dynamites. Comboed with the anti-nades is just making so much pressure for them. The shatter from Dixon takes out Mock Garden, however. Now the nano onto Bust. Bust is going to get up into Mutnik's face, and the immortality is the only thing keeping Mutnik from getting demeked here. Zarya desperately trying to find some kills here, but it looks like this fight is going to be slowed down a bit. The defense do hold it.
Yeah, they managed to hold on. But this might be just a really unfortunate time. The res is burnt early, the Bob is out once again. Maybe not being able to get as much done as they might like.
Yeah, self-destructing Mutnik means that Evie is going to be taken out of this fight, and the Blizzard finally doesn't get eaten, but doesn't freeze up too many people either. Bob gets a kill from it, Lion AD following up onto Dixon, and that's going to mean that this payload's not going to have as much pressure from the Reinhardt fighting onto it here. Alpha Chat does take out Moon, and that's huge for the defense. You want to be able to get a couple of kills so that this point does not continue rolling. Dixon rolls Mop off the map as well.
Yeah, I was talking earlier on about how impactful the 6 on the beach tanks are, and it was mainly talking about Dixon there, but Mutnik has also had a killer game on the depot. Like, even though that time they weren't able to get the E, it was only because Mob Garden felt the urge and felt the necessity to wait until the Diva was actually out of mech. There was no way a defense base could catch it before launching that ultimate. And now Peachy, who has the Graviton Surge line, is going to be facing a very similar ultimate here. Like, they'll just have to be really patient or try and time it when the defense matrix is holding that, like, second cooldown or whatever it is. It's going to be a really interesting mind game in between the two off tanks.
Oh, Molten Core with a good shot through an amplification matrix basically immediately shuts that fight down. They don't even want to take it, and that's the right call, realistically.
Yeah, you don't want to waste your time on a fight that there's no way you're going to win, especially if there's so many early picks. But at the end of the day, that isn't an awful situation for Friendship. Like, they lost the fight, very quickly, very economically, didn't use any abilities whatsoever. And the defense against it used 2, so now they are free to invest in benefits.
And yeah, the nano boost onto Bus is perfect. Primal Rage is going to try push some people off the map, but actually just jumps right into Valkyrie's Deadeye, so Valkyrie cannot finish. The ultimate coming out here. Peachy's looking for this Graviton Surge, looking for the right opportunity to pop it out. Bus is taken out of Dixon now, and the Graviton Surge is good. Onto 3 here, and Zazastack is able to finish off Alpha Chad in the mix here. Corey Wolfgang burned down by Bus, and the freeze onto Mutnik is good. This is just going to be coming down to Dixon on the Wrecking Ball, stalling out. Mutnik with a good self-destruct, taking out 2. And once again, if you just get a couple of kills on the defense, your respawns are better. Even with Moon getting the res off, that's just going to be free ult charge.
Yeah, Mutnik again having such a large impact. And as we go down to it, we could be looking at a situation where both teams manage to finish King's Road, but only in overtime. That would, of course, lead to about a minute apiece to work with in extra innings here. But the defense, yeah, like, there's no way that we aren't going to, there's no way that there's like a draw best case scenario or something, because we are past that minute barrier. But it is Bust coming up towards that front lane very quickly. The nano boost, the Dagger Stack is so close as well. He's lying in out to a sliver of HP.
Oh, the immortality is perfect to come out and keep this team alive, but Bus manages to take it out anyway. Lion Garden and Lion AD and Mop Garden finishing off a remaining couple of players. Mutnik just on that baby diva, and this point now is going to finally roll through. They managed to get it, but there was so much pressure that 6 on the beach brought the time back down to a minute 13.
Oparer, I love you, but did you say Lion Garden and Mop AD?
I did say Lion Garden. Yeah, I caught that.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a stinker. I'm at no safety here either. I probably messed up so many things, but it's a little bit funny. But
That's a good one.
They are also just been. I'm not surprised that you made it on those 2 players in particular, because not only are they just the same role, but they've both been so impactful, and their names are constantly having to be said by us because they are just always doing something. So now, as we take a look at the defense for Friendship again, they are running the. I think it's the exact same composition. Maybe Peach was on the Diva previously, but they are running the double hit scan with the Arna Mercy. So expect a very similar thing to what was played previously. They had Lion AD and Zazastack and Moon all kind of clumped up on the high ground, and they were just rotating as a unit, just attempting to get the best angles possible for both the anti-nades and just the shots from the rifle of Ash. And then you have Mop Garden, who can be, with their sprint, just a little bit quick around those flanks, and can just pour in damage and just make it really difficult for something two-dimensional like a Rhine Shield to actually block any damage. And in anticipation of that, it looks like it will be Dixon rocking the Winston. And Corey Wolfgang is also trying to change some things up, going over the far, but I don't know how they'll fare here. I think they'll just take so much damage from the hit scan, and they'll be so hesitant to peek and actually get much work done on the rocket launching character. But as I say that, it is
Never mind.
To the far of Corey, getting impact pretty early on.
Yeah, that was a really good kill from Corey, taking out Zarya of all players, and now pumping a lot of damage into this upper level of King's Row here. And because of the way Corey's positioning, it's really hard for the hit scan to get value. And we see Alpha Chad come through, showing who's the Alpha Chad, getting 2 headshots on the Mercy, pushing off Zazastack as well. Oh gosh, Alpha Chad showing who's boss on Mercy.
Okay, that's definitely a highlight moment of 3 games of Mercy. What an absolute machine Alpha Chad was there. But as we go into this now, the Farah looked like it paid off really well, and they played it really nicely. They weren't just going for more damage, although they absolutely got that. They were just almost playing bouncer at the door, making the hit scan so hesitant to peek, because they were just going to eat a rocket at every opportunity here. And they have that barrage, so if they could maybe do something sneaky here, they might be able to pick up a squishy like Zazastack, and that would be a massive thing. I think taking out the Ana, maybe even the Mercy, would be the best possible pick here for this rocket barrage.
Now there's a lot of pressure getting put onto Corey Wolfgang as a good dynamite is making it hard, but the dive onto Lion AD means that Mutnik and Dixon all join in together. That was such a good call, and out comes the Rock Barrage, takes out Zazastack, looking for Peachy, but Mutnik helps with a bit of a self-destruct, taking out 2. A beautiful direct rocket onto Moon means that Dixon's going to finish off that Mercy, and that is going to be that payload. barely being contested. Mopgarden being found hiding away.
Yeah, good thing 6 on the beach is an overtime team here, Oparer, because that's all there is at the moment. But now we have a few tools finally coming up to the defense. They have that nano boost again, fast going back to the Winston after a brief stint on the Wrecking Ball. And the Bob from Line AD was available until they get taken out by Corey. But the Fire might struggle here as they go a little bit more indoors, and a really nice big wave actually opened up. But it doesn't matter.
And Corey is not struggling whatsoever. Moon getting taken out. The nano now comes onto Bus. Bus needs to put in some work here to make sure that this payload does not keep moving, I mean. And the Bob is ready by Lion AD, but not opting to play it right now, just waiting out for that perfect moment. Tech Visor comes out into the bubble of Dixon. This payload's still moving. Mutnick's falling so low, but getting a lot of healing coming through by the Valkyrie of Alpha Chad here. Res onto Corey Wolfgang. That's going to be a lot of damage coming back. That's a perfect kind of res. Bus finishes off Ducky. Good kill here. Primal Rage is coming out of both Winstons. Lion AD getting a good dynamite onto Valkyrie means that there is just one less bit of damage coming out for Sticks on the beach. Mutnick taking out Lion AD, however, in a huge grab means that Bus can finish off Mutnick. Chasing down Alpha Chad now. Bus is putting in the work that they needed to make sure that this payload does not keep moving. It's found its bus stop as it stops right at the end of point 3.
That's essentially another full cap in with like a minute on the clock. I'm pretty sure that was absolutely filthy from 6 on the beach, and they have put themselves in the best possible position to actually take this map and henceforth take the whole series. Because remember, this is only a best of 3 Oparer. Like they have put themselves in like the best position to actually go up 2-0 against Team Friendship, which have been playing phenomenally well as well, and I think that speaks absolute volumes to 6 on the beach and the potential, that they have to go in this tournament. I quickly also want to talk about Corey Wolfgang, who in the most DPS thing possible has just absolutely fragged out on the far and then immediately gone back to the tourbillon. I think that's a little bit funny, but nah. And it looks like it is Mopgarden who might be teasing a fire pick of their own, realizing, hey, this rocket character might be kind of cool, may be able to do a cool shooty shoot thing. But we cannot anticipate on the offensive composition too much yet, but we can take a pretty solid look at the defense. Not much changing up in the support department. Alpha Chat and Ducky staying on their tried and true. They've been solid on it throughout. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it will be Nick and Dixon again on that Ryan Devo. You were talking about briefly, albeit on the other side, how maybe a Reinhardt was struggling without a Slaya. Doesn't look like Dixon has been having that problem at all. Mutnick is playing a phenomenal Devo.
Yeah, Mutnick's Diva has been so good at being supportive for Dixon, letting Dixon go in and then absorbing damage so that Dixon doesn't take as much. It gives the supports a lot less pressure as well. Bus dropping a pile driver into the backline, but Mutnick doesn't care, finds Lion AD, manages to take them out here. Mopgarden on the Ferret, not getting as much value as they get finished up by Corey Wolfgang. And Valkyrie now taking a fight with Bus in the backline, so Bus cannot harass as much as he'd like to. Yeah, that was a good hold by 6 on the beach.
Yeah, and that has shaved like all of their time off the clock. It is 30 seconds on the board for the offense here. And the closest ultimate they have is this nano boost. But who is the target? They don't have the Winsons that they would preferably chuck it onto. They might have to chuck it onto Lion AD, see what they can get done with it, or maybe if he sees a high charge, chuck it onto them. But it looks like it is being chucked onto the Reaper, who is just going to activate out.
Yeah, the Reaper gets in aggro, manages to find Dixon, and then gets deep into the backline to finish off Valkyrie. Mutnick does come through to finish off that kill, and the res onto Dixon is really good. The defense is looking strong now. Bus is desperately trying to find value, but with the res on Zazastack coming through and getting killed during the res, Corey Wolfgang must be happy with that. This overtime is going to be really stressful, even if they get the cap, which is going to be pretty tough now. Bus just rolling around, desperately hoping that the team can come back, but now the overtime ticks down and 6 on the beach take it 2-0.
That offense, they didn't even need like the 3 points that they got in essentiality there. They just managed to hold it on first either way with a minute on the clock. And Corey Wolf, despite having phenomenal impact on the Clara, the play of the game is going to them on the Torbjorn. That ultimate shutdown is absolutely filthy. Honestly, a really good Torbjorn player, but that is really exciting me personally for the rest of this tournament and what we can see from Six on the Beach, as Corey has proved themselves to be more than like a Torbjorn one trick. They can definitely flex off and have massive impact.
Absolutely. You were talking about Corey potentially playing the Pharah, and they did it to perfection. On top of that, I think Mutnik, Dixon, they all worked really well together, getting some really good dives onto the players of Friendship. And once again, Alpha Chad, Ducky, incredible supports, keeping their team up, keeping their team running. It's really good to see.
Yeah, it's really good. And that is 2 wins on the board for Six on the Beach now. They have had a really nice one. And they're just progressing throughout this bracket the more and more that we go into this tournament. And they are looking in the goods. But we aren't done, Oparer. We have another game coming up. We have, oh god, I'll have to double check this, excuse me. We have TFF versus Hubble Bubble. We are yet to see TFF on stream yet. But we have taken a brief little squiz at Hubble Bubble. I recall the Kaijamo Torbjorn, so expect more Torbjorn, and Shareborn having a few stands in the chat as well. Saw a really funny one about their house being entirely made of windows, just because they're just playing the Baptiste so well. So this should be a really exciting matchup as well here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think seeing Chairborn come back, we'll see so many amplification matrices. And now TFF, like you said, a team we haven't seen yet. I'll just remind everyone who the players are on TFF, just in case they've forgotten. We've got on the tanks, Transcendent Blades and Vivid. And then on DPS, we've got Hash and Profound Rice. And then on support lineup, we've got Hoshizora and Elias Tinker. The only returning player in terms of our tournaments, our community streamer tournaments, is Profound Rice. We've seen Profound Rice play. They did a bit of, I believe they were on DPS last time, playing a bit of Pharah, everything like that.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean we don't know anything about these players. We saw a pretty funny highlight from Oshizora in the like little production thing that we had going in the breaks. And I also did have the opportunity to play with Alias Tinker. It was such a good night. I think you were there, Oparer. Like we had like 6 of us in the server chat, just kind of chilling, playing some Overwatch, and it was really good fun. And unless I'm getting my people like, horribly mixed up, and if so, I am so sorry. But Alias Tinker is while quite an established streamer, is pretty new to Overwatch, right? Like, they've only been playing the game for a couple of months.
Yeah, no, brand new to Overwatch, really enjoying the game, loving to play support, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how she performs. She has done very well so far, picking up the game brand new and being able to play in a team comp like this. Being matched up with Hoshizora. Hoshizora is very well known for the Mercy, so we'll probably see Tink maybe be playing a little bit of Ana, something like that. Maybe even Zenyatta. I know Tink has been asked to play Zenyatta before, so we might see that come out from her as well.
Yeah, there's definitely a few things on the card here, and it really depends on the map as well. I'm assuming that we are playing the same map pool?
Correct, yeah. We're going to be rolling through Busan, and then Kings Row and Junkertown if we need it.
Yeah, and we do have a... the description we've been given of Alias Tinker is noob gameplay. It won't be noob gameplay. It will be more than enough. Yeah, and we actually have a little bit of info on the rest of these players that we haven't covered. Vivid, Overwatch was their first FPS game as well, a sentiment mirrored by Hoshizora. I did say that, right? Hoshizora, yeah. And we have Hash, who's looks like they are a bit of a McCree player, and that they... From what I'm seeing, they look like they're the McCree player that just flashbang with right clicks and a target where you should just be left clicking, and makes people really upset, including myself. So I'm probably going to just be molding on the sideline watching this.
That's going to be a lot of fun, but we'll see how Hash's McCree goes up against Tipsy Kitty. Tipsy Kitty was playing the McCree for Hubble Bubble and was really going off, getting some good headshots and getting some good kills, shutting down the Farah that they were seeing up against them. So, I mean, realistically, it's going to be a bit of a McCree off between Hash and Tipsy Kitty. And then I think Kai and Profound Rice are just going to be told to play whatever you want.
Yeah, it's a pretty good benefit to have as a flex DPS, where you are so confident in your hit scan players that you can just kind of do your own thing, play to your comforts, while we do have those two obviously very talented hit scan players there. And as we took a brief look at the bracket, it was just on screen before, we saw that it is, of course, a double elimination, and we saw how far Six on the Beach has already gone. They're like one match away from making like the grand finals, right, and cementing their place as the final game of tomorrow's proceedings, which of course will start at 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, right here on this channel, the one that we're on right now. So
ITB Media.
Yeah, ITV Media. You should watch the thing and do the Twitch thing.
Absolutely. Make sure you turn up. It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, in terms of, Team 6 on the Beach looking really dominant moving into the semifinals, the question becomes, will Hubble Bubble follow suit, or will TFF come down and shut them at the door before the semifinals? Busan's going to be our first viewing of TFF, and with Busan, like we've seen, you can run a variety of comps. We saw the Reinhardt come out, we saw a Wrecking Ball come out. Correct me if I'm wrong, we saw Winston? Or was that just King's Row?
No, we saw a little bit of Wrecking Ball on Busan. I believe it was. Bus was playing that. Dixon started off on the Reinhardt, and then I believe later opted into the Winston. And yeah, so we take another quick look at the bracket here, and we have Hopium versus Friendship. Those are some good teams that are already down in the lower bracket. I say good teams like it's a surprising thing. Every team in this tournament is phenomenal in their own right and consists of so many incredible players from the Oceanic region who have just come together to make this incredible event in the first place as well. And no, Team Sarah Jane is still... Are they in the lower bracket? Because she was on Nya, wasn't she?
Yes, she was on Nya, so she will be in the bottom loser bracket with whoever loses this game. Team Nya will be facing off against them. So, yes, Team Nya is in that losers bracket that is right below Team Hopium versus Team Friendship.
Yes, that is a very much an uphill battle for the the founder of this tournament, I should say, who has managed to put it all together. Not quite to their name as the previous one was, but still just as impactful behind the scenes in making this a product that we can actually participate in, which is really, really cool. And we are opening up. We didn't get to see this stage of Busan last time, Oparer.
Yeah.
We started off on Mecha Base, but now we are starting off on help me, Sanctuary? I think it's Sanctuary here, and it looks like that we are already opting into a Ryan Zarya versus Ryan Zarya. And finally, we get to see some Lucio here. Alias and Artemis are both opting for the Bippity Boot Boy, so that should be really exciting, and will just allow for some really aggressive Reinhardt plays.
Absolutely right. This Reinhardt is going to be able to play so aggressively, get up front, close and personal, and you can see both teams clashing right now. It's just a bit of a Reinhardt hammer off, and no one's winning the fight just yet. But now we do see Mr. Matthias getting really up close and personal onto Vivid. Vivid was falling so low, the fire strike onto Hash gets the damage done, but Elias and Hoshi really keeping the team up. Now we do also see Tink actually swapped onto Ana, so the speed boost was purely just out of the door frame, and because of that they do seem to be getting a bit more support. However, Vivid has fallen, and Hubble Bubble is going to really like that. They're going to be able to take that point presence, get the kills, and it looks like TFF are falling back.
Yeah, TFF with the Moira pick, they'll benefit from fighting in the one place, but as soon as Hubble Bubble chooses to rotate somewhere and the previous fight gets the point, they'll really start to miss that speed boost. But it is Hubble Bubble who are missing their main tank at the moment.
Yeah, Profound Rice on the Symmetra, burning through the shield and the Reinhardt. The flip comes through, and realistically, that was a really quick fight win.
Yeah, not much even happened. Like, not much damage
Yeah.
was done. I think only 1 or 2 people died, if that, for Hubble Bubble. And that means that they'll be able to come back super quickly, of course, aided by that LucyIsabelle who's opening up with the grab.
Good grab.
That's the
Yeah,
counter
the
slam.
grab comes out. Counter slam to make sure nothing comes through, but Mr. Matthias has it ready, but he's just going to reset. Yeah, Arcanine and Matthias both reset. Vivid getting a good couple of kills.
Yeah, that was all the Earth Shadow from Transcend. It was opened up quite nicely by Arcanine, but this, as Mr. Matthias went to swing into it, the shield was obviously down, and the massive counter shadow landed. Everyone was taken out. The tank's not even seeing the worth in fighting that, and very rightfully jumping off the map to get that reset as quick as possible. But now we have a few ultimates up for Hubble Bubble and opening up with the Ant Matrix.
Oh, and a Deadeye goes through, takes out Tink, no Arna for the support, and Tipsy Kitty and Cheerborn just coming through, rolling for the kills now. You see Vivid just desperately trying to stay alive, and Hoshi putting in a little bit of work, but that cap finally flips through to Hubble Bubble.
Yeah, and a key difference that we're seeing between these two series already, Oparer, is that the fights are so much more decisive. And I think that does come down to the fact that it is a mirror. Like, they both have very similar goals, and if one person accomplishes it, if one team accomplishes it, the other one obviously will not be able to. So it just allows for a lot more decisive team fights, and Kai on the board getting some work done.
Yeah, good Molten Core comes through. Tipsy taking out Transcendence now. The fight is over before it starts. You can just immediately call the fallback, and now with the percentages matching, it's going to become a lot more favorable for Hubble Bubble to get up close and personal like we're seeing. Put pressure onto that teleport, but the grab comes out by Vivid. Means that Matthias does fall, and Vivid takes out Artemis as well. They can start to really push up far with the Coalescence, managing to keep the team alive. This Moira pick just trying to do a little bit of DPS Moira onto Kaijamo and onto Arcanine. It's interesting to see the DPS Moira in a tournament style. Profound Rice finishing off Kaijamo, and that's going to be the cap.
Yeah, and finally we saw the impact that Moira of Hoshisora can have.
Yeah.
It is that the Coalescence just beamed everybody down who was locked up in the grab, and just the heals afterwards are so impactful as well. But very differently to TFF, as soon as Hubble Bubble wants to go for that recontest, they will have a lot to work with. And another signature chairboard amplification matrix that does open up the fight. Firestorm doesn't quite find anyone, and this time Mr. Matthias does block the shadow.
Yeah, the shadow gets blocked, but Vivid was stuck in the grab from Arcanine, but kills Matthias in the process. Incredible kill right there, and now Tipsy Kitty taking out Vivid. This is looking good for the way of Hubble Bubble right now. Hash is getting up in behind Tipsy Kitty, but Tipsy Kitty manages to survive it, taking them out. And the cap is now going back to Hubble Bubble at 99%.
I'm on fire.
Yeah, this round is looking very close, and also I have to say there was the right click from Hash that we were talking about in the pre-show of Oparer. So it is a thing. It is more than just a myth. It is straight fact. And interestingly enough, the teleporter is not being used to get to point, and that might be a tool that could like negate the lack of a window and just give them even more mobility to work with. And the flashbang does come out, locks up the wrecking ball as well.
Kaijamo has taken out Vivid though, and we do see Cheerborn getting run over by Hash here. Another stun and fan the hammer onto Mr. Matthias. The Wrecking Ball is out of this match, but the kills are going both ways. Tipsy Kitty taking out Tank. Hash now finds Kaijamo, and the Deadeye, that was perfect, finishing off Artemis. This is where things come through. Arcanine falling, and that is going to be an objective secured for TFF.
Yeah, it is, and so 100% map win rate so far, stage win rate so far for TFF in this tournament. And if this is anything to go off for how the rest of this series will progress, we are in for an exciting but also long series here, Para. That was 99-99. It could not have been closer if it was scripted. So really well done by both of these teams. And as we go on to downtown now, we will see the swap of the Reinhardt, instead of opting both teams for the Winston. A really big difference here is going to be, actually I want to talk about something else. We do have the Echo up in the sky from Tipsy Kitty. And that could be really good because Echo's a very good character. But they will have to be careful of the Hash Widowmaker. That could be very much a thorn in the head in this case for Tipsy Kitty. And you can see Hash just down their scope trying to find some sort of damage, but they're only finding tanks.
Yeah, absolutely right. They can't manage to get any sort of value with those shields coming up as well right now. Hash desperately trying to get a kill coming through. The damage, however, is looking a little bit in favor of TFF now as a lot of Hubble Bubble were falling low. They're going to try their best to keep it alive here, burning in through, and there goes Arcanine. Transcendent absolutely devastating Arcanine on this Winston right now. The Echo trying their best, gets the focusing beam kill, but there's so much going back and forth here. It's really anyone's fight right now. Artemis taken down by Transcendence, and with Hoshizora's Coalescence, that's going to be the game changer that gives it to TFF.
Yeah, it was with like the first part of that Coalescence as well that got all the work done. The rest was just a bit of a light show for celebration. But interestingly enough, we do see TFF swapping off onto the McCree and popping out of that Widowmaker, and I imagine that is to counter the Sombra of Pajamo, who's on there working their way consistently towards that EMP, but not quite at it yet. That'll be really impactful when it comes around.
Absolutely right. Sticky Bombs didn't connect onto much, but we do see a focusing beam. Sticky Bombs now locked onto Transcendent, and Transcendent falls because of it here. We see Mr. Matthias trying their best, but realistically with another good Coalescence coming up by Cheerborn, that's going to be the game changer here for a Hubble Bubble, a Tipsy Kitty duplicate self-destruct to win that point.
Yeah, but that even with those ultimate views, they have so much left to like continue holding this point with. They have the grab, they have the sound barrier to they could even use the sound barrier aggressively here at Like, there isn't some big ultimate like the Dragon Blade or a grab that they specifically have to look out for. They can just use it pretty reactively. But the grab is in vivid,
and an EMP comes out as well, shutting down this push here. Really good stuff from Vivid, but because of the EMP, the team is falling. TFF now getting the kill onto Matthias and onto Arcanine here. Transcendence jumping onto Tipsy Kitty, and the EMP, when it looked good, I guess it was better from Vivid, meaning that there was no grab to come through, and this fight is now looking all Vivid on the board.
Yeah, it managed to be turned around there in favor of TFF somehow. I have no clue how they managed to do it. I imagine it's all locked up in that choke there. Even when there were EMP, the left click heals from both those supports would have enough to sustain, and then after that, the rest is history, I guess. And the Sombra is being ditched. Kajamo opting for a very unorthodox Junkrat here. I don't know what they expect to get out of this Junkrat here. Missing Tires falls in the primal as well. That is a huge ultimate and a lot of health gone.
Yeah. Hash's Deadeye was so good there, and it gives Transcendence the room to just get in up close and personal with a Primal Rage, pushing them away, and Vivid can finish up Arcanine. We do see Mr. Matthias trying to get up close now because it is at 80%. They've only got one fight left to be able to take this map.
It is very, very close, and of course you're right, it is the first map on the line here for Hubble Bubble. They have to pull out something now. There is no more time to wait around, and Chairboard is doing something about it, opening up with the Coalescence. They did the Kitty fall before they get the duplicate.
Yeah, Matthias does follow up on the Coalescence, getting Profound Rise, but Hoshizora getting a punch kill onto Kai. Grab comes out, connects onto Hoshizora, but Hoshizora can keep themselves up with Tink's help right there. Hash finishing off Cheerborn, and this overtime clock is starting to tick down now. TFF just trying to take out this duplicated Echo, flying around on the Diva. Now D-Mex gets stunned, goes out of the duplicate. Deadeye comes out by Hash just to finish off the fight, but Hoshizora wants the credit instead, getting a 3K and winning the first map of Busan.
What a display from TFF. They are inexperienced in this tournament, but not showing any of that in this game so far. And, excuse me, we get to take a little peek at Hash, who has been given the play of the game. And, what a shot, actually, right out of the roll as well. Out of the high noon as well. And I'm really struggling to pick out like a highlight player here for TFF. They've just all been playing so well as a team together, and I think that is the best way to play Overwatch, obviously. Like, it means that everyone is playing on so well, they're on the same page, so that no one has to pull out those like massive clutch performances or anything like that.
No, absolutely right. When everyone's playing together like a solid unit, that's where team fights like this can win. Surprisingly enough, we were talking about Tink, and Tink has been doing incredibly well. For only with a couple of months under her belt, she's been keeping this team up and running. Hoshizora able to play a DPS Moira because Hoshi is just so confident that the team will still be healed by Tink. So really cool to see that. On top of that, Hash going off on the McCree, Profound running a bit of the Symmetra and getting a lot of value from that. The team was playing really well all around.
Yeah, it was really good. And I think that if we are going into King's Row, which is likely to be Brawl again, we did see TFF, they were... Let me rephrase this, excuse me. We saw TFF succeed in the Ryan matchup. We also saw them succeed in like the Winston matchup kind of thing. So as we go onto these next two maps, which are, what, Kings Row and Junkertown, I'm pretty sure?
Correct.
That is essentially all bases covered, and it looks like a TFF win just by what we were kind of exposed to in that first map. So they are showing themselves to be a very versatile team, and definitely a threat to look out for if they can manage to secure the series.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be important to see how they go on King's Row, whether the Reinhardt matchup is going to be a bit more even now, or whether it is just going to be a bit more overpowered by TFF. They could also opt for a different play style, which it looks like Mr. Matthias is going for the Winston, whilst Transcendent is going for the Reinhardt. So this difference in comp could be a game changer here.
Yeah, and it's what I was talking about in Mecha Base, I believe it was, when we were having... Oh, no, it wasn't Mecha Base, it was Sanctuary, when we had the mirrored compositions. And I was talking about how that would create like the cleaner team fights and less hesitation on our end of like, oh, who's going to take this? It's one side, then it goes to the other. But now we are returned to what we saw in our previous series with Six on the Beach and Friendship. And never mind, we have been lied to. Both teams are opting for the Reinhardt, and I think that makes a lot of sense here. And we saw the Kaijamo Junker very briefly on Busan, but I think it has a lot of validity here on King's Row. There's so many tight chokes, and the spam would have put so much pressure onto the shield of Transcendent.
Now they do manage to get through that first choke, even with the Symmetra turrets up, but Hash getting a kill onto Tipsy Kitty early, that is going to be really devastating for Hubble Bubble as they try to push. They do still opt to run along the path without the McCree. Obviously they think that McCree will be able to just take the fights anyway, and so much pressure onto Hash. Kaijamo gets taken down takes down Hash so devastatingly, and they're able to now push in onto point. Hubble Bubble taking so much point pressure, getting their first tick. Transcendent's falling so low, and Tipsy Kitty finishing up the kill here. The pathing commitment was such a smart play because they were able to run over that DPS and then just take the rest of them down.
Yeah, I'd like to argue your point briefly, Oparer, as point A does go to Hubble Bubble. You said that the McCree pick was pretty devastating on the offset of that fight when they were taken out by the Widow headshot. I think if you want to lose anyone, it is the McCree, because as they were going through that cool passing play, it basically forces a crossfire by the McCree coming back from respawn, and it's essentially the merry-go-round, the Great Bamboozle that we saw from the Los Angeles Gladiators, but just a little bit less intentional. It was just kind of a gift to them on a silver platter, and Tipsy Kitty absolutely made it work there, landed the shot, and that's an Earth.
That was a beautiful Earth Shatter, throwing 2 to the ground. The Coalescence has to come out by Hoshizora to keep them up and running. Grab connects onto Hoshi and Transcendent, but the responsive Shatter to try and stop any damage coming through that grab brought Mr. Matthias to his knees. They're trying so hard, but Transcendent's now falling so low. Vivid finishes off Arcanine, and Tipsy takes out their counterpart of Hash, but the amplification matrix means that TFF cannot peek. They're not allowed to look through, and this payload can just continue on a little bit uncontested. Vivid now getting onto the payload, joined by a Profound Rice and by Transcendent, and they get the point defense coming through.
Yeah, as soon as the tanks had that authority on the point, there wasn't much hope of Hubble Bubble getting a really solid hold on it. But they do get the recontest very speedily, and Alias falling very early with the nano is a huge blow to the defense.
And with the Riptire available, this could be a devastating play for TFF. They might not be able to survive this. Out comes the Riptire. There are so many players all together trying to find the biggest amount, and he finds 3. Kai taking out 3 with a huge Riptire. Reinhardt now running over Transcendent, and the payload is probably just going to roll in through next point.
Yeah, that was a really nice Riptire.
Yeah.
Kai having a bit of banter in chat as well, that's really funny. Yeah, Kai getting a lot of value out of the Riptire there, and it means that they only need that one ultimate to win the fight, which as we get into point C, gives a lot of snowball potential. They will have essentially 5 ultimates to work with here, and the Riptire will come up really quick with around like 6 damage, and that kind of does as well. The grab's not quite in.
Self-destruct comes out, however, doesn't connect onto anyone, and a remit kill doesn't occur either. Which is a little bit upsetting, but the shatter from Mr. Matthias is good, bringing people down, but there was no follow-up kills from it, unfortunately, but the payload did keep on moving. Amplification Matrix comes out by Cheerborn, and Transcendence falls from Tipsy Kitty shooting through it. Vivid gets the nano to try and keep them alive, but it doesn't do much, and with the photon barrier coming out by Profound Rice as well, that's going to really make it a little bit easier for TFF to try and hold this defense here, because they cannot get shot behind that wall. But Mr. Matthias trying to push up, and a good fire strike takes out Profound Rice. The shatter doesn't go off and gets killed during it. Devastating result from that shatter. Mr. Matthias now rolling over the remaining players, and Tipsy Kitty doing the final kills. That's 3 minutes 54 seconds on King's Row.
Yeah, rapid that was from Hubble Bubble, and excuse me. Yeah, really good. So they will essentially have lost 6 seconds on what they would have been given initially at the start of Kings there. So if we do go to extra innings, it will not be bad at all. And there, I think we really did see how quickly Hubble Bubble were able to take the fights, and it was because Artemis wasn't that Lucio. It was also that pick that accommodated the really fancy rotation that we saw on point A that you also brought up on Broadcast Oparer. So that was really neat, and the Lucio pick proving to be very pivotal. And it could be a weakness of TFF that they are not as willing to run that. As I say that, it does look like Alias is teasing it, and that could just accommodate so much more aggression from TFF here.
Yeah, it'll be the question of whether Tink just uses it just to speed boost out the door and then swaps again or not. I mean, realistically, Tink could do that, but I don't think the speed boost would gain too much value, so hopefully they don't. But anything can go when we're in OCE. I said that earlier and I'll say it again. We like to change it up and throw a little bit of a spanner in the works here. So as the doors open, we'll see what Tink does. Hopefully the Lucio speed boost sticks around so they can get a lot of value. Hash trying to find a headshot early, doesn't manage to connect onto much, and with the teleporter straight to the gate, they can actually run right over top of them. Reinhardt getting really aggressive but taking a lot of damage. Transcendent really struggling to stay up and running, but the immortality had to come through from Cheerborn. That gets taken out, and now Matthias is the one who's struggling with the HP. Profound Rice burning through Cheerborn at the same time, and Profound Rice, that's the kill that you want to get. Getting the Lucio out of here to not give the rest of the team the speed to run away, and then now it's just Kai stuck in the wee statue.
Yeah, that was such a nice play from TFF on the offense. Great utilization of the symmetric teleport. It completely just made the positioning of Hubble Bubble's defense look a little bit worthless. Because the whole point of where they were holding is to try and just catch them at the choke. But with the teleporter, they obviously just completely negated the choke and didn't have to be in that kill zone for any time at all. And then they were just right on top of them really, really quickly, just really caught off guard. The great play all the way around from the offense. But Hash is caught up. Arcana managing to scout out that Widowmaker and the flank that they're going for. A really nice little bit of awareness actually from Zarya to know that the Widowmaker would try and beat that angle. And that means now that when Hubble Bubble holds the point there, they don't have to look behind too much.
A grab comes out onto 2, and the charge into Transcendent actually results in Matthias dying from Elias there. Hoshizora pops the Coalescence to burn through any remaining players, and whilst the Shatter's alive, you probably don't use it here. You're just going to keep that point rolling.
Yeah, the payload hardly even stopped there for TFF. They are doing just as much as a steamroll as anyone else is. But unless I'm mistaken, is that Kai Shadow behind the boiler room? It is.
Yeah.
They are quite at that Riptide there, and they're caught out. No shenanigans or heroics coming out from Kai Jamo there. the end of the day, just being a bit of a hindrance to their team wanting to recontest this as soon as possible. And 6 minutes going into King's Row Oparer. I don't know if I've ever seen that in a game I've casted before.
That is an insane time bank, and that's going to be so valuable for TFF if they can keep it up and running. It seems like both teams are really confident at pushing this payload through. Out comes a Riptide from Kaijamu, though, trying to find some players, doesn't know who to quite put it on. And with Hash taking him out during the Riptide, it means that he's going to die when he comes back to life from the Riptide, but it does take out 2. This attack is probably going to get slowed down a little bit now. Hash finished off by Cheerborn. Yeah, you just want to fall back there.
Yeah, and it is held quite nicely at the end of the day, but they still have so much time to work with. And the offense also has a really big ultimate combo coming up in the slam and then the grab. If they take this fight really quickly and they get the grab off before Artemis gets that stab barrier, that might be their best chance to do that.
Unfortunately, the shatter gets blocked by a shield. The grab comes out, but Tipsy Kitty's getting the kills on the board with the Deadeye, and then just some good mechanical gameplay here. Now, Elias and Hoshi just trying to run away. They're going to break the teleporter just so they don't get value. And Profound Rice is caught with their pants down a little bit here.
Yeah, manages to hitch them up with the help of Transcendent, just holding the shield, keeping them alive from what could have been a really bad stagger from the destruction of that teleport. But now we have the high shadow coming out, but they're all in the ground, really good.
Yeah, the Coalescence trying to keep the team alive, but Profound Rice does take a lot of damage. Hash finishes off Mr. Matthias. Hoshizora's damage orb taking out Arcanine as well, and oh, it's looking good for TFF now as they're going to get aggressive. Artemis jumping off the map, trying to get a reset so they can all come back as one team, but they do manage to find Kai hiding in the house pack corner here. Kai is managing to survive pretty well, but at 99% can't get the Molten Core live. Hoshizora finishing them off, and now this payload is so close to the end. Shatter is ready and available, puts it down, doesn't connect onto too much, but it's enough for them to try and keep going. The grab comes out by Vivid, and Hash is getting those kills now. The attacking team might just be able to roll through as TFF is getting kill after kill. Molten Core from Kaijamo takes out 2. Cheerbomb finished off by right click from Vivid, but Kaijamo's Molten Core, they don't know where it is, they don't know where to stand. Profound Rice throws out a Proton barrier to just try and keep the team alive, and I called it Proton, but it's Photon actually. There's so much going on right now. Wrecking Ball trying to keep this fight going. Mr. Matthias finishes off Profound Rice, the Coalescence to finish it off, but they defend it just in time.
Yeah, Hash was considering coming back to the high noon from the backline, trying to clutch it up, thinking better of it, just hoping to reset, still just cap when the situation is best suited to them. And I don't think that situation now. I think they are playing into the high noon. They have nothing to work with themselves. Kaijamu's coming up on that Molten Core again. This could be a really difficult fight to take for TFF, but they've done more miraculous things before. The flank high noon.
Oh, the flank high noon.
And I'll sort it out. They drop the Nieke out. Oh, what a play!
Absolutely beautiful Deadeye. They don't manage to get a lot of players, but they get the one. Hash does die to a Deadeye of Tipsy Kitty, but I mean, it was pure fun to watch, realistically. A play in of itself. Kaijamu's turret now taking out Vivid. That's going to be a fight finish right there.
Yeah, and the ties is putting out the slam for the fun as well. Just saying, why not? We'll clutch it up. But I think that at the end of the day, Mutaz might regret that one because they really probably wouldn't mind that extra resource to put some more pressure on Transcendent, who's coming up with a shadow of their own. And Hash is trying to get the high ground, but has to advance forward with the rest of the team. And now it is the Rhine games, but it will be Transcendent who has the shadow online, and both Moira also support. There is going to be a lot of particle effect.
Yeah, Coalescence on both sides. The particles are going off right now. Coalescence keeping both teams alive, but Transcendent actually falls from that. The grab comes out, connects onto 3, and with David on the other side of that wall, gets demech during the fight. We see Hoshizora trying to run away from a Reinhardt, chasing them down, finishes off Cheerborn. May as well, just for the fun of it.
Yeah, what a play from the Moira, trying to get aggressive off it as well, but maybe taking it too far. They do get taken down. And we are in a situation now for the defense where they have like a pretty solid win condition here. Like they can, if they just hold for like another minute, then if what I'm trying to say is if GFF capture in overtime, there's no way that they can win this match. Best case scenario is a draw. They have to be really careful with that. They have no time to wait around. And Profound Rise is on the front foot.
And out comes the charge with a good charge bomb. That was so perfect. That was exactly what you wanted right now. If you are TFF Transcendent, charge Matthias, so no shield was able to protect that bomb and finds a 5k here. Arcanine coming back on the Wrecking Ball. The only problem with a lot of kills means they all come back at the same time. Tipsy Kitty pops the Deadeye, doesn't get into much, but Cheerborn taking out Hash. Hoshizora's Coalescence trying to keep the team alive. Also takes out Cheerborn at the same time. Tipsy Kitty falling low, and so is Mr. Matthias. Damage off to try and come out, but the shatter is huge. That's going to be 3 down with Kai getting a hammer kill as well. Hoshizora was all that's left, and 15 seconds. Transcendent trying to come through on the Wrecking Ball, desperately trying to find value, getting the overtime, but realistically all it can be is a draw anyway. Hash back on the Reaper now, and Vivid trying to fly through on that Diva. It's just one after another coming in and getting taken out. Elias getting swung by that hammer, and Coalescence to finish off the fight. That is going to be King's Row going to Hubble Bubble. We are 1-1, Neeke.
I cannot fully comprehend the audacity of Kaijamo to, in the middle of that very chaotic fight and very detrimental fight, to go for the hammer kill. That is some very much Chad energy. And so glad we get to see the Judas effective of this. We're putting pressure on K9, tucking in the bomb. This is the charge, excuse me. Perfectly timed off the Mr. Matthias. Such good tank play. Very similar to what we might have seen out of like someone like Dixon and Mutnik there. So those are 2 big tank duos that will be really exciting if we get to see them face off. And we will if TFF progress into this upper bracket here, they will eventually come up against Sticks on the Beach. So that would be a really interesting matchup if we get there. But I am getting ahead of myself, Oparer. We still have one more map in the series to go. The one to decide it all, and it will be Junkertown. It is Junkertown, right?
Correct. Yeah, we're moving into Junkertown. Okay. Going to be an interesting map all around, Neeke.
Yeah, I was kind of talking about it before. I was talking about how TFF, they can play the Ryan, they can play the Winston, they should be set on Junkertown. But Junkertown is one of those anomalies where neither of those tank compositions is like 100% what you want. Yeah. In reality, you probably want like a Orisa Sigma, Orisa Ryan Poke composition, like you maybe something like a Wrecking Ball, just to negate, not to negate, to travel that vast terrain in like maximum speed, compared to a Winston where you're a bit more limited in your movement. So it's all up in the air here. Junkertown is one of those maps where there are so many options. You can play a pirate ship on the cart with either a Bastion or the Kaijamo Tourbillon. We could see that come out again. But there is a constant, and that is that long-range hit scan. We have seen Hash do a absolutely wonderful job on the Widowmaker and the Ashe as well. The McCree, excuse me. So we could see either of those come out here. And we could also see Tipsy Kitty try to mirror that. They do play the McCree from memory, so that is definitely an option here as we go into Junkertown.
Yeah, there are so many potentials, and it looks like we're seeing the McCree. We're seeing the Symmetra continue on with Profound Rice, so that's a pretty interesting thing to see, the fact that they want to run the Symmetra. They could maybe try and do a bit of a spawn camping at the Junkertown doors. That's a pretty common one, to just try and burn off a bit of time bank. But it does look like they're opting to just play up on that high ground, giving TFF, giving Hubble Bubble, a little bit of space to get onto that payload. Reinhardt versus Winston. Winston can dive in and try cause a lot of damage, and with the follow-up from Tipsy Kitty, Vivid actually finishes off Mr. Matthias pretty quickly. The team responded to that dive very well. Fire strike onto Tipsy Kitty. This is going to be a push from Hubble Bubble that's not going to last very long there, Neeke.
No, not at all. The defense is holding strong with this Reinhardt, and they are playing it, trying to find the most of King's Row in here, and they're just playing on the corners, trying to do their best. But the Echo is getting a lot of value out of that stick bomb and the focusing beams as well.
Yeah, that Echo kill was huge, and Mr. Matthias can use a little bit of follow-up onto Profound Rice, taking Profound Rice out right now. diving in deep here. Matthias getting the support needed this time for the dive, and it looks like these tanks are getting so much pressure. The sleep onto Transcendent immediately waking up from a little bit of electric tickles by Monkey there. The healing just to keep this fight going. A Coalescence has to come out by Hoshizora because so much damage is coming out, and Mr. Matthias pops that Primal Rage, just throwing people around, making sure they can't even come back to contest the payload. Hoshizora taken down by the beam of Zarya there, and a turret to finish off the tank. That's a sad story for that push right there.
Yeah, the defense not managing to hold on quite. But Hubble Bubble, on the bright side, they'll be able to take some really aggressive positioning here. They have a few options to take some high ground and just give their Echo as much space to work with as well, so they can go up in the air relatively uncontested and even drain the damage with those try shots. And Mr. Matthias is the one going in, greatly timing the two bubbles there, and the cleave and the bomb as well. That is a nice pick onto the tanks. RK9 setting up really nicely.
Oh, Hash with a big Deadeye though. That could be enough to bring the fight back, but because both the tanks are still alive, no, Mr. Matthias can just jump in and get aggressive. Transcendent now here all alone, getting rushed by the remaining tanks. Just really making it hard for Transcendent to find any way to survive. Primal Rage comes out as well by Mr. Matthias, using it really well, not to particularly get kills, but to make sure they can't get back onto the payload, which I really like to see.
Yeah, they do manage to get the kills either way though, but just that aggressive spawn camping-esque play from RK9, absolutely, you analysed it down to the key Oparer. They played it really nicely, ensuring that they get point B completely uncontested, and yeah, just more speedy escort pushes with the payload for Hubble Bubble. They did it on King's Road, and they are very much replicating it here as well. They have a fair few tools to work with as well. They have so many ultimates coming up, and as the mana goes on to Monkey, they're going to go live.
Monkey is getting in deep, and a Photon Barrier comes out to try and make it a little bit harder, but with this sort of tank line, it's not too bad. Matthias does, however, fall to Vivid, and they are now going to start getting onto the payload, taking out the turret. Now looking at Kai with the Coalescence coming out, Transcendent can take out Kai Jarmo there, but Transcendent's taking a lot of damage too, with the grab into them, into three of them. In fact, that's going to be huge. The self-destruct has to come out upon the death, but you can just bubble yourself so you don't die from it there, Vivid, unfortunately. And a good Deadeye by Hash once again might be able to save this game, but it depends what these tanks do, and it looks like Arcanine's opting to fall back this time.
Yeah, thinking better of it, that's stereotypical, not stereotypical, typical, aggressive play from Arcanine. Just thinks the better of it, realize that they'll have time to regroup and recontest because they just have so much time to work with. But it was Hash who managed to clutch up that fight really nicely, and as we look forward, all the ultimates are in Hubble Bubble's court. So they should definitely be able to get some value here, and they do opt to duplicate the D.Va and just allow Matthias to go super aggressive.
Yeah, so aggressive that they pop that primal rage even. The duplicate self-destruct takes out tank here. Tipsy Kitty, really good duplicate, and opting to just go for that confirmed kill onto the Ana with the bomb. Really good to see, and now they're pushing all the way up into the spawn door again. They're actually teasing the D.Va a little bit, making sure that they don't respawn at the exact same time. Grab is probably going to come through very shortly to make sure that this team doesn't come out as far. Profound Rice stuck, and it gets taken down, and with the help of Matthias getting in so deep, it's going to be really hard. Hoshizora's Coalescence, though, that's where it's coming through. The Coalescence once again saving the team in that fight.
Yeah, really big play from Hoshizora on the Moira there, and the massive time bank that Hubble Bubble came into point C with is just dwindling away. But it speaks volumes to how large that was, that they still had 3 minutes to work with. And because of that, they have the option to make some wholesale composition switches, knowing full well that they will have the security of getting like a fight where they have all of their ultimates online. So they have swapped up the tank line over to the Reinhardt and the Zarya, who are looking to park underneath the car, trying to find someone on the payload to deal with straight away.
They take out tank, and that's a lot of healing removed immediately. Matthias rolling on through. They had the nano to just really burn through. We do see Transcendent trying to fight these backline tanks, but Transcendent didn't get too much value from it. Now can return to try and stall out the payload a little bit, but Arcanine was just constantly burning through with a lot of damage from their beam and a lot of high charge right now. Out comes the grab, a good photon barrier to make sure that the damage can't go through without approaching it, but Tipsy Kitty and Kai, they are just going to walk through the wall. They don't care. They'll take that fight head on. Wrecking Ball coming out from Transcendent, trying to keep this fight alive, and now a Coalescence coming out from Hoshizora actually gets taken out by Kaijamo. Kaijamo taking 2 to his name, and with a Molten Core to make sure they can't walk out the door. That's going to be a little bit of Dr. Seuss for you as they capture the point.
Yeah, they managed to get it done. Kai, in the humiliation time, getting 2 hammer kills. I wonder what the hammer kill count for Kai is in this tournament. It'd have to be approaching like half a dozen, maybe? Like, it's very, very solid from Kai on the Torbjorn. And that was a pretty solid defense all the way around from... offense, excuse me, from Hubble Bubble. They got a lot of stuff done. And the defense from TFF, you have to give them credit for how long they held on point C there. But eventually it was just too much to overcome. The tank swap was just really good to deal with. And I really respect Hubble Bubble for swapping off of the double bubble, because it wasn't working, and they had the confidence to fix up for something that they thought would work, and it absolutely did. So really good versatility and display of shot calling there by whoever made that decision to swap over. And as we look at their defense now, it looks like they're sticking on a very similar composition here, Oparer. They're staying on the Reinhardt Zarya. That suggests to me that maybe they want to like kind of hide out in one of the huts until about 4 or 5 seconds left, and then just hug the spawn door. And it looks like that's what they're doing, just sneaking around the coast. And I imagine with a few seconds left, so they do not reveal themselves too early, they will situate themselves in the enemy spawn, try and do some of the damage. And I think the Transcendent, and it made the Widow pick is pretty useless. And so same with Ego, because they need that long range time to get the value. But they aren't holding as aggressive as I actually might have thought.
They are opting to fight at payload at least, however, but there's a lot more room for improvement. One thing that I just want to note out is Hoshizora is now on his main of that Mercy, and we'll see how choosing Mercy is going to make a little bit of damage, a little bit of change as well. Transcendent trying to get this kill onto Mr. Matthias here. Mr. Matthias is falling so low, and now that they're just surrounded, they're taking so much damage from every location and not finding enough damage to take someone out. Profound Rice does fall, but Transcendent and Hash working together to take out 2 without the Mercy for heals as well. It's going to be pretty hard right now for Hubble Bubble to keep this defense up. We do just see Arcanine.
Yeah, defending it without heals is so difficult. I'm sorry for cutting you off there.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, defending it without heals is so difficult. Hoshizora even popping the lane Valkyrie, which maybe they'd be wanting back. But it's okay, they still have so many ultimates to work with for this next fight on point A. I'm really interested to see how Transcendent plays it. Will they just go aggressive with the Primal, or will they wait for the Nano Boost before they go for that massive engage and get all the cleave damage up?
It'll be interesting to see. Out comes a not a Coalescence, an Amplification Matrix even. Kaijamo getting a bit of value, shooting through it, taking out Tink, but the Primal Rage onto Tipsy Kitty is going to mean that Tipsy Kitty's removed from the fight, but the grab is good. Gets all the players that they need into it, and now it is just going to be Mr. Matthias left alive, getting jumped on by Transcendent. However, the fight on cart is going the way of Cheerborn right now. Vivid finally finishing it off, and a duplicate coming out by Profound Rice means that that point is now going to continue on. Tipsy taking out Profound Rice.
Yeah, and they have a position where they can maybe recontest here, and it looks like Tipsy is trying to off a high and get the kill, but I think he will get much more power.
No, Vivid getting these kills 1, 2, 3 to their name right now. Profound Rice does get taken out, but realistically, this is looking all good for the attackers right now. Cheerborn gets punched by a monkey jumping on your face, and now it's just a Wrecking Ball spinning around just to try and stop some time bank going, and that is going to be it there.
Yeah, to be fair, for Hubble, by going for that stall, they did force the use of both the Nano Boost and the Echo Duplicate. That's a very solid play from them. But in their own respect, they made a bunch of hero swaps, like the stagger picks, to try and get them back to the payload quickly, and that will equally damage, if not even more damage, their own ultimate economy. So maybe all the value that I thought they might have had comes to nothing as it just kind of evens out. And is the Widowmaker looks like it might get caught out, but they managed to escape a great capitalization there. from TFF.
Yeah, they responded really well to the push onto Hash. The sticky bomb's making a lot of pressure from Hubble Bubble, and we're seeing swaps come through constantly for Hubble Bubble now. Tipsy Kitty going back onto the McCree here. Mr. Matthias does manage to take out Hoshi Zora, and Arcanine is going to start being aggressive onto Hash here. Tipsy Kitty taking out Elias, however, and there is going to be a hold coming through. They managed to group up just on time, and also looked good for the attack. They held it.
Yeah, they held it really nicely there. And now TFF, they're just going to come back, and they do have that primal rage again. They also have the grab. So that is just so much cleave damage going into it. And again, very similarly to King's Artemis is not quite that down rate yet. There is a window where the grab is good.
Yeah, grab comes out. There was a shatter earlier, didn't get too much, but Kai's turret taking out Profound Rice. That's going to make a lot of pressure for this Echo to keep playing. However, Transcendent popping the Primal Rage, taking out Cheerborn. Transcendent putting in a lot of work. Tink finishing off Artemis, a really good kill right there, taking out one of the healers. Mr. Matthias finishing off Profound Rice once again, and Arcanine following up onto Transcendent. Vivid just desperately trying to push this payload as far as possible with Tink as support there. Arcanine coming in, wants to finish off Tink, and now it's going to be a bit of a Zarya battle on the point. Don't know who will win it. It looks like Arcanine does as Vivid runs away.
Yeah, forced out by the sand barrier as Artemis as well, just forced to use that to just secure the fight. So that's all good though. They hold on point B, and because of that, it means that the Reinhardt can get back up to the high ground, Tipsy Kitty can follow along, and as the fight kind of rotates towards the cart, Tipsy Kitty will be able to stay up there and maybe like a 20 kind of like and they just stay on the high ground.
Yeah, we see a duplicate is ready. Hoshizora brings Transcendent back, and here comes the duplicate onto the Zarya. Hash takes out Cheerborn, and this is looking like a really good push now. Hash taking out Kaijamo as well. They are just falling like flies right now. Hubble Bubble really struggling. Out comes a potential grab from Vivid if they need it, but they may not, as Matthias falls, and so does Artemis. Arcanine once again the final straggler left on point. And this time it is going to roll through to third point, I believe.
Yeah, TFF finally getting the job done on point B, and Matthias is swapping over to the Winston. It is the double bubble from Hubble Bubble here. Back to that. And it will be a very interesting fight as it goes out, purely because there's a lot of ultimates on the field, but I think the ultimate economy does, the ultimate situation does favour TFF, purely because they have the Primal Rage and Matthias doesn't, as they only just got over the Winston. So this fight should benefit TFF, but the fight after that might be a different story.
But the nano onto Mr. Matthias means that he can actually take out Elias Tinker here, and the McCree picks are going to try and come through as they finish off Transcendent. Nothing more coming through right now as they just call to regroup.
Yeah, I expected Hubble Bubble to actually lose that fight, but they were again just they received the benefit of just having more initiative. They went for that fight earlier. Elias Tinker was caught unaware, unable to get that nano boost off in time that would have allowed Transcendent to make those fight-winning plays on the Winston. Just not quite getting it done, unfortunately, on the nano boost. But now they have the opportunity to do this fight, and it will not be missed. So Transcendent is going aggressive.
Yeah, Transcendent getting the nano, but a Deadeye dropping into Transcendent, making sure that Transcendent gets no value out of the nano. That was perfect. A good anti-nade, manages to take out Artemis, but the rest of Hubble Bubble are just going to follow up on the kills here. Tipsy is falling low, but realistically, Hubble Bubble have won that.
Yeah, they managed to take it, but now, oh god, I can't even say that. There are so many options on the field as well, and it will be chairborne. And this, because of that previous fight where Alias was picked off early, now the nano boosts are way out of sync. So one fight where chairborne has it, and Alias won't, but then the next fight will be the opposite. But it's these fights will be really inconsistent in the victors, and snowballs are really unlikely.
Ooh, Transcendent does get a Primal Rage kill onto Cheerborn, but the Winston counterpart is actually Primal Raging onto Elias Tank. And that's going to be 2 kills for Mr. Matthias right now. Profound Rice focuses being timid down, but dies at the same time. And oh gosh, these fights are so messy sometimes, but looking good for TFF now as they can roll through.
Yeah, and they'll have the Valkyrie to just maintain this momentum as well. Unless they get picked off, they manage to retreat to cover just in the nick of time there. And it will be Hash, maybe looking behind him, landing a couple of dings to take the deep round and Mecha Claw. That is a huge play on the fit.
There's the Deadeye. Doesn't connect onto anything but themselves, technically, because Kai can just walk up and take them out. And unfortunately, Mr. Matthias dies to sentence in that wee little cubby hole from a punch. Kaijamo's turret doing a lot of the work right now, managing to hold this at bay, and the overtime ticks away. They're not able to touch, and Hubble Bubble takes our game here tonight, Neeke.
Yeah, they do. They take it 2-1 after a bit of a slow start on Busan. Second play of the game for Vivid. Previously it was on Diva, this time on the Warrior. Really nice gut from third, beaming everyone down. And a nice bit of heal as well for all the tanks on the field. To keep them all going nice and healthy. Really nice play from Hubble Bubble there. And as we take a look at our bracket, hopefully we can get that graphic up. They are now versing 6 on the beach, which that is that tank matchup that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves, Oparer. We'll have all the time in the world to talk about this a little bit later on. We are going to a quick break. Do not move a muscle.
Two up there. She's still got her pocket, bro. I wouldn't. Nice.
Damage boosters for pussies.
You have no getting out there, both of you.
They're looking at me. McCree's low, McCree half.
The pole behind us.
They're 2 down. Can we push? They're 3 down. I'm hacking.
Leap on the flank. Yeah, I can kill you. Ooh, that what? Oh. Aaron. It was delicious, but it did also give me a stomach ache.
I can't do it for very long.
That's tough. You can't do that.
What happened?
I want to die. That's not fair.
Just traded high grounds.
I went to go get it and she's like, nope. Sorry, I'm doing a bit trolling. If you can, actually, I don't have any bubbles. Shut up. I was gonna say.
It's just one hit. Tickle him. Hunter's dead. Jump bitch. Hog's sleeping. Soldier, are you ready to laser him? 3, 2, 1.
Thank you. Oh no.
This guy just gets hit with a question mark.
And I kept saying ara, but you're supposed to do it like ara. And I was just doing it wrong the whole time. What am I fucking hearing? Hang on, guys. Was I just shooting heals at them? Guys, was I shooting heals at them? Was I shooting kills at the enemy team? Please, can someone confirm or deny? Did you guys see that? I was just zoned out.
I did say we were going fishing, chat. I did. I warned you guys. I warned you guys. We're going fishing. We going fishing. I'm on the water. I'm on water fishing all day.
Where's the Junkrat's back left? I'm gonna dive back left here, okay? Alright, 3, 2, oh what? Okay. Oh, this is just free.
Big actually,
This is just free.
big left, big one.
That's actually free, dude.
They grabbed because they thought they were tipping.
He's one. Let's go. 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 I'm a fragger. I'm a fucking god. I'm on fire! Woo! Wah!
We need to kill this just look at the Czar. No.
Okay. I suppose not paying off, baby.
I actually have. I don't think I would have done that without all the 10 hours of practice.
Hey, dude, it pays off.
10 hours, nice.
No, that's a joke. I didn't practice for 10 hours. I have 9 hours total playtime on Tracer. So.
Really? Oh my
Yes.
god.
Bye! No, it's not that!
Oh shit, never mind.
I love.
It's in the fucking top left. My Inmort saved me there with that pin.
Where am I? Oh, massive shadow! What the fuck?
There's a fucking Doom behind us though.
Oh, they got charged.
Oh
Unless it
no!
fucking exist and press a button.
Oh my god!
I fucking got him. He's one. Nice. Go. Push. Anna one. She's donked. No nade. Nice. Oh, Mercy half, back right. I'm gonna go hammer that bitch. Hold on. Sup, bitch? Hold on, 3k hammer. No, don't you dare. Yes, sup, bitch? Oh, fuck. Fuck you, Lucio. Action kinda weird. Undo. Were you ever almost get a 4k with a hammer?
That was epic.
It's 2 up there. She's still got her pocket, bro. I wouldn't. Nice.
Damage boosters for pussies.
You have no getting that tempo, do you?
They're looking at me. Pretty low, pretty hard.
All behind us.
They're 2 down. Can we push? They're 3 down. I'm hacking.
Wait on the flank. I think I can kill you. Ooh, that what? Oh. Aaron. It was delicious, but it did also give me a stomachache.
do it for very long.
That's not, you can't do that.
What happened?
Oh, it doesn't. That's not fair.
That's his trainer playground.
I went to go get it and she's like, nope. Sorry, I'm doing a bit of trolling. If you can, actually, don't have any bubbles. You can shout it. I was gonna say.
This is one hit. Tickle him. Hunter's dead. Jump bitch. Hog's sleeping. Soldier, are you ready to laser him? 3, 2, 1.
Thank you! Oh no.
This guy just hit me with a question mark.
And I kept saying ara, but you're supposed to do it like ara. And I was just doing it wrong the whole time. Oh my fucking hearing. Ah, hang on, guys, was I just shooting heals at them? Guys, was I shooting heals at them? Was I?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Overwatch ANZ Summer Games Rumble. Today, we are going to be finishing up tonight's proceedings with the semi-finals. I am going to be one of your casters for tonight, Slaya, and today I am joined along with Temporal. How are you doing, mate?
I'm amazed. I'm glad to be here. We've had some amazing matches today. Some surprises to be sure. I think particularly in the previous round, we had TFF and Friendship both had buys into that round, and it's the teams that came out of the qualifiers that ended up upsetting and Hubble Bubble and 6 on the Beach are one win away from a guaranteed spot in the grand final, guaranteed spot in that top 3, winning the prizes, and that's interesting. Thank you, Abby. But so a lot for these teams to play for, and from what I've seen out of both the teams, I've been pleasantly surprised with the level of Overwatch we've seen from them. You throw together these teams, it can be a bit chaotic. It's people that haven't necessarily played together, but so far both of them have shown nice compositions, great teamwork, and at the end of the day, it's got them this far, and it's only a short hop, skip, and a jump away from the grand final where they can prove once and for all they are the best content team in the Oceanic region.
Absolutely, and hey, look, every single game tonight has been absolutely nail-biting. It's been so close. And now that we're down to the semi-finals, we are definitely going to be, hopefully, seeing this one through to all 3 maps, all the way to completion. And hey, look, what a banger of a map to start this off with. We're going on to Ilios.
Ilios, a great place to start. Nice and sunshine. I know if you're in Melbourne like I am, sunshine all day today. Don't look out the windows now. It's looking very dicey, especially if you're out in the west. But it's a great place to start. I'm looking forward to see if we go to well in particular. I want to see some boop kills. Let's go for the environment of kills. It's a fun game. You might as well create some highlights out of it.
Absolutely. Hey, look, we're streaming it. We're going to be watching you. So why not go for those little highlighty reel kind of rollouts, you know, get those boop kills into Ilios well if you have the chance to. But hey, look, we're going to enter into the game. First up, this is, ladies and gentlemen, Team 6 on the Beach versus Team Hubble Bubble. And as you have said, we've already seen these 2 teams play twice today, both in round 1 and round 2 coming out on top. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see Bracket A and Bracket B merge together into tonight's semi-finals.
It is, and I'm just looking back through that run both teams have had. Both of them have had a close match, a 2-1. Both have a 2-0. I think for Team Hubble Bubble, they've had, I think, the most wildly diverse results. That first match against Niao was pretty one-sided, but versus TFF, it went down to the wire on Junkertown. But it's a new map, it's a new day. They've at least warmed up. We think maybe 6 on the beach, maybe they're cooled down a little bit. They had a hot streak earlier in the day. If they're able to bring their A game into this match, but right now we are going to be starting on well, so I look forward to the boot kills potentially happening. The team's coming out the gates and already some Faras in the sky, Slayer.
Absolutely. Hey, look, these Faras in the sky, it's not uncommon to see these picks on Ilios. Well, more of a dive type of content coming out, but hey, look, it is all up to these players to make the most out of it, and we start off with Kai Jamo getting a frag onto Ducky.
A great start. I was going to suggest we might be looking at Corey for the Fire play. We saw it come to great effect on Kings Row, particularly during the overtime push. That Fire is able to level 1, but the double Sky comp from Hub Bubble actually working out a little bit better, gives them some more control over the point. They were able to get both able to pick up kills. Oh, dearie me, Mutnik into the well. And all of a sudden, things were looking for 6 on the beach, but now things back in the favour of Hubble Bubble. They will be the ones who capture first.
Absolutely, Hubble Bubble, it's just it was back and forth for those first few moments there, but Hubble Bubble just seemed to keep themselves together for just that little bit longer and just come out on top. And in the end, it did come down to those first opening picks, and they did come down to Hubble Bubble. So, let's see what continues on here.
It's been a rather long path back to the point for 6 on the beach. They've finally got the players they need. Looking for some picks. There's going to be a Valkyrie out of Artemis.
Oh.
Tipsy picks up the opening blow. Corey down as well. Artemis actually, the Valkyrie Mercy chips in with a little bit of damage with that tiny little blast. It gets the job done. That will see Hubble Bubble capably holding onto the point.
Nick throwing himself into the well just for a little bit of safety there. Not to be, pulled away
Looking for Zenyatta's gold.
Team. Yeah. But
That's
hey,
Nepal,
look,
though.
and that is Nepal. But yeah, oh yeah, opening picks coming out to both the Faras here.
So a lot of damage gone for both teams. I would definitely side with the side of Hubble Bubble here. They've still got Tipsy Kitty in the fight. It's almost on top of the duplicate. 5 other ultimates available for that team. Graviton Surge invested first. Tipsy Kitty actually choosing not to use the duplicate here. Doesn't feel enough pressure that they're going to need. Alpha Chad gets low. Gonna have to pop the Valkyrie just to survive that. So trade's going either way, but still Hubble Bubble holding on, and they've got ultimates to play with. The Resurrection sees Corey come back into the fire. The fire didn't get much melee out of that barrage. Oh, and we're seeing another Mercy play. Alpha Chad, the Alpha Mercy picking up a quick 2k. The Valkyrie finally wears off, but finally it's the numbers with 6 on the beach, and enables them to flip the point for the first time.
And look, hey, this is an 83%.
Okay, we're going to go another engagement on the point. All 6 players live. Oh, Kai cops a rocket to the face straight away. Doesn't trade out for Valkyrie in return, but the resurrection is there from Alpha. He's going to push forward. Corey in a great position, hunting down the back line of Hubble Bubble, putting so much pressure on. I think I saw a bike grenade there onto Artemis. Both supports down for Hubble Bubble means they're going to have difficulty sustaining in this fight. They'll have to back off and give 6 on the beach plenty of breathing room as they build up towards 50%, only 30% behind. They're just biding their time. We're going to see a couple of ultimates. The barrage, I don't know how valuable that'll be. We might see the nano boost invested on the fire just to keep them alive. Artemis, though, will have the Valkyrie, but it's Corey opens up, looking to open up with a barrage straight off the bat. Able to take care of Matthias, so the Winston out of the fight. It's going to see 6 on the beach, push themselves forward. Mutton, it gets knocked out of mech. That's fine. The Mini Diva can still go remake, of course. Maybe get a kill off the back of that Dixon. Takes a bit of damage, but it's Corey over the top with the rockets. The resurrection coming through. Artemis able to get it off, even under fire. Great play from the Mercy. There's some ball play out of them. I expect it to continue on into this match. Now the Valkyrie out. Artemis is out hunting for blood. Kai will combo with them to finish off Corey. Seeing that Pharah immediately brought back into the fight. The Gravitable Surge invested. Here's the barrage from Kai. It's able to take care of Valkyrie. The rest of the team is there in support. Kai surprisingly surviving the barrage. That's the biggest statement of the day, with 96% on the board. Hubble Bubble's able to flip it back and recapture the points. So now the tables are turned. 6 on the beach under pressure. They've got to touch the point. We're almost up to that 96% mark for Hubble Bubble as well. So this one's going down to the wire. 6 on the beach, plenty to play with. Neeke, the self-destruct. Oh, it doesn't quite go in the well, so it does create space. Corey Wolf is able to open up onto Chairborne. So it's a great start. Dixon now hunting down, looking for those squishies in the backline. Artemis goes down. Kai out of the fight as well. The pharmacy denied for Hubble Bubble. They've got control of the point, but it shan't be for long. 6 on the beach have the numbers they need. They're running rush shot all over this point. We're going to see a duplicate Tipsy Kitty throwing a self-destruct out. Next doesn't quite find any value. No, it's kind of around the corner, so it's not able to get any kills. Now Dixon unleashes the Primal Rage. 6 on the beach, they've had the numbers, but they haven't been able to pick up enough kills to force Hubble Bubble to completely vacate the point. Now the reinforcements are back. Tipsy Kitty takes Corey out of the fight. Valkyrie, a Deadeye from the side. Oh, we saw Chairborne just dodging out of the way. And as they pounce onto the McCree, a good, great flashbang takes Matthias out of the fight. What a bio grenade over the top from Ducky. 2 players going low, both the DPS. Tipsy won't belong for this world in the end. 6 on the beach, ends up stepping off the point, which leaves Hubble Bubble to take first victory in here in LS. It feels like we've been in 2 rounds already, but no, that's just the one. We will be moving on to Lighthouse.
Yeah, a little bit of a C9 lol moment there. I appreciate
my Slaya, your voice has changed.
Really yeah, I also heard that I got a lot less good looking in that time as well. A little bit of a stinker. No, I have returned actually. And I'm really excited to, because I was the one talking in our previous series about how I really wanted to see these 2 teams kind of interact, particularly Hubble Bubble and 6 on the beach. So I'm actually really excited I get to watch this gameplay. Again, looking out for the difference between the 2 off-tanks here. It is a D.Va versus Zarya, but then it is also a Reinhardt versus a Winston. So a little bit of a mixed match tank composition here. And Kai Jamo finally flexing their muscles up in the sky with no long range hit scan for 6 on the beach. They might have a lot of free reign and we'll be able to get a decent amount of work done.
Yeah, we're relying on that turret from Corey, a standout pick on the Torbjorn so far today. We'll see if it pays off. 6 on the beach, able to take first position on the point, which is what you want to be doing with this composition. You get caught out in the open, you're going to be dog's breakfast, but Chairborne actually follows up. There's been 2 great bio grenades to start things off, and off the back of that, Hubble Bubble able to sweep their opposition away and capture the point. Sorry,
yeah, the double aerial. Yeah, that's okay. But double aerial up in the sky is just so difficult to do when your DPS are Reaper and Torbjorn, which are both pretty darn short range. Like, you know, some long range options, the D.Va can fly up, and then the back and the Ana both have decent damage in their own right, but it just isn't enough when there's 2 of them up there as well, both being pocketed by Artemis as well. So Valkyrie is making the swap over to the legs. That is a consistent damage, but I think that the Pharah and the Echo would both really be scared of the burst a little bit more. So something like a Widowmaker headshot or an Ashe headshot, rather than that consistent the consistent damage from the Soldier 76. So the Pharah still might be able to be relatively uncontested.
I mean, you've got to get into a position where you can fight the bar, but then you just turn your back on the Echo. Kai is having a field day, a barrage over the top. 6 on the beach, they made their way to the high ground, but they just weren't able to get out, even with Alpha Chads and Matrix there, and we're going to see that player swap off onto the Mercy, so wholesale swaps coming through for 6 on the beach.
Yeah, opting to mirror with the Pharah, and we saw Corey Wolf pull out the Pharah on King's Row in a series earlier in today, and it was massive. It single-handedly carried the King's Row offense for 6 on the beach. So hoping to pull off a similar kind of performance here, but this time they have a little bit of contention up in the sky, so it might be a little bit more difficult for them to actually get some work done here, Temporal.
You see Matthias bouncing around the rooftops looking for a target in the air, but those 2 Sky heroes are very difficult to pin down. Once the Primal Rage was off, still just control the point over the Hubble Bubble. They've also got control of this open area, so 6 on the beach, they're having so much difficulty plugging through that gap. They don't really have much to work with either. I mean, Dixon going down, you lose Alpha as well. it's all Hubble Bubble, and they're looking good to make this a clean 2-0.
Yeah, and they are very much on the verge of that. I think the Echo duplicate could be the nail in the coffin. They can either duplicate the Diva, maybe even the Ana, and go for a big nano boost onto Miss Matthias, like the doubled up with Chairborne. But both fires out of the picture. Will any Mercies be able to get off the res?
Oh, and you'd be hoping Dixon can survive a little bit longer on the point as the Wrecking Ball overtime being triggered. Mutnik remaking. We're going to see 2 kills come from the self-destruct. Now it's Tipsy Kitty's turn to show us how to play Diva. There's going to be another self-destruct going into the point. Oh, actually, no, sorry, sitting outside the point, just clearing some space. So nice play by Tipsy Kitty, making sure that no one from 6 on the beach can get even close to the point to try and contest. You see Dixon's back, but in the end, the Wrecking Ball's not going to be long for this wall. Overtime burns down, and it's an easy second point for Hubble Bubble, which sees them take the lead in this upper bracket final.
Yeah, off to a really good start. It is still a best of 3, so just one map away as we go to King's Row. The Mercy play the end with the Sharpshooter. You don't see this every day of the week. This is the second 3K Mercy play to Alpha Chat in this tournament, I'm pretty sure. I was watching this, and it was kind of filthy. Oh my god.
Oh dear lord, Alpha Mercy indeed. But unfortunately, that's kind of the only highlight that 6 on the beach is going to be taking away from Ilios. It was really, it was very back and forth. It went down to that almost 99-99. We saw great players out of both teams, but I think Lighthouse, Neeke, definitely a different story. That composition from Hubble Bubble that they came out with definitely proved the better. We saw 6 on the beach change late, but it was too little too late for them.
Yeah, maybe a little seamless Slaya transition here, because I think that we have amended our technical difficulties. I get the whole screen to myself. This is really cool. This is very, very gnarly. But I think I'm all right to get out of here. So I'm gonna pass you back to the very capable hands of one Temporal and Slaya.
Hey guys, that was an absolutely amazing time to have an OCE internet moment right there. The wonders of having your internet connection just be cut. But hey, I'm back. Everything's working again, working better than ever. I've reset my modem. Everything's all good now. And it looks like we had a very nice Ilios game.
It was certainly a nice game. Neeke and I were just discussing it. First point was very back and forth, going down to the wire, but then we saw Hubble Bubble really take the initiative on Lighthouse. They came out with the right comp. They were able to get first point control, and it was very difficult. For 6 on the beach, a team you'd think with a name like that would be at home in a Greek locale, but unfortunately not. They were probably a little too much sipping on the beach, perhaps. 6 on the beach, sipping on the beach. And in the end, it is Hubble Bubble who takes things away. So we will look forward to the rest of this series. It's definitely not going to be a quick 2 maps in my estimation, given the way both of these teams have been playing across the day. And of course, Hubble Bubble freshly warmed up after taking on TFF not 20 minutes ago. So maybe just a little bit of time for 6 on the beach to get back into things.
Yeah, that's all it is about. It's who can get themselves back into the vibe of things, back into the groove. You know, making themselves accustomed to how the enemy team does play. Hubble Bubble already taking that first dub of the night here. With 6 on the beach, as you said, maybe it's just a little bit more time before they do finally get themselves back into the groove of things, and understand how Hubble Bubble plays, understand their weaknesses, and finally start going at them and attacking it.
Well, we're going to be loading into Hollywood. It will be 6 on the beach on the defense. We're not seeing too much surprising from them running that Ryan Diva once again. Corey will actually be playing on the Soldier 76 to start things out, perhaps expecting either the Farah or the Echo to be coming in. However, Hubble Bubble, we're choosing a little more range damage. It'll be the Hanzo McCree, but they do have a Ryan Zara of their own. So once again, off-tank difference will be in play. We'll see which comes out on top. But for the moment, Hubble Bubble, we're looking to make the way for Kai. The Hanzo on the side, puts the pressure on the back line. As
already a shatter! That's a massive floor, man.
Insane out of Matthias. You see 6 on the beach are able to mostly get away, but there's so many players low. Both the tanks are down, just the healers left. They're not going to be doing any damage to this time bank. Hubble Bubble storm their way through point A.
That was absolutely such a fast shatter. And as you can see by Dixon's ult percentage as well, only halfway to the shatter. Matthias absolutely did some huge work for the side of Hubble Bubble there to get that first point going. But as we can already see, Hubble Bubble is trying their best to assault this high ground, maybe get 6 on the beach off of there.
Well, it's a smart approach for 6 on the beach. You've got that slow, brawly composition, taking the high ground, forcing Hubble Bubble to come to you, and they can only come up a couple of different ways. Up those tiny little lifts, yeah, they're a little more easy to use these days, but in the end, it's always going to be easy for the team on top. Just sit there, Dixon can swing the hammer up to the Earth Shatter of their own now. Corey hunting down the stragglers. Hubble Bubble going to be losing a lot of time, but they've still got plenty to play with.
Absolutely, and look here, just at this standstill, waiting once again for the side of Hubble Bubble to come in and take some space here. Mutnik trying their best to stay in that mech and just handles it while we're getting some more push.
The Hubble Bubble also going to be well placed. You got the Dragon Strike, got the Graviton Surge. It's combined onto the high ground, catches multiple members of 6 on the beach, but the Immortality Field from Alpha Chad keeps everyone alive. And now Corey responding with a great great tactical visor. Mutnik and Dixon, the tank duo, able to combine for a couple of kills of their own. That will see 6 on the beach finally stabilizing and giving Hubble Bubble pause for thought.
Mutnik, oh, very sad moments there for Mutnik, leaving his team on a 5v6 from a turret. Kai Jama, you got to be very happy if you're Kai right there. Another turret kill for the regime.
How embarrassing for the Tiny Diva, but now Hubble Bubble, they ain't going to waste any time sitting on their laurels. Beautiful buy grenade onto the high ground from Chairborne, pays for it with their life, and sees trades going either way. The Hubble Bubble's coming out on top with another amplification matrix on the high ground. This one doesn't quite find any value as no one is left alive to take advantage of it. Mutnik will have to walk back to spawn with their tail between their legs as the cart continues its progress forward.
It really did come down to that really early pick from Kaijamo there, but Mutnik really needed to get back into the mech there. But as we see a little bit more of a fight coming along, I reckon we're going to be seeing a little bit more of a deficit on the side of Hubble.
Both Deadeyes are in play. Tipsy Kitty stares down the ascending self-destruct, able to get off the high ground and kill Mutnik in the process. And now it's up to Mr. Matthias to follow up with the Primal Rage, bopping and battering their enemy team around. RK9's able to pick up 1 kill in the middle of all that. So the car's going to continue pushing its way forward. 6 on the beach that don't quite have the numbers they'd like. Dixon down. You see Mutnik coming out. Some protection for Ducky. Perhaps the Resurrection will be invested, but no, the Mercy isn't long for this. Well, Mutnik in the bar, stopping for a drink, and that will be all that 6 on the beach is going to be taken away from this. Hubble Bubble set to finish second point.
4 minutes on the clock for Hubble Bubble to take this last point. We've already gone through 2/3 of this map and only another third left. With 4 minutes on the clock, it's looking very unlikely for 6 on the beach to really be holding this one tight. Hubble Bubble, you only need to win 1 more map to do this as well. Are we going to be seeing something similar to what we saw in Ilios? A little bit of a back and forth, and then we're going to see this hard push through from Hubble Bubble.
Now is the time for Hubble Bubble. We got 4 great ultimates, particularly the Sound Barrier. Artemis will invest that, but it's a little too late for Mr. Matthias. The Reinhardt goes down in the front line. The rest of the team just choosing to back away. So yeah, big support ultimate out of the fight, and 6 on the beach are content to hunt the rest of the players down, make sure they don't get any free push off the back of that RK9 holding onto the Graviton Surge. They'll be using that in the next fight.
As next fight's definitely going to be a hard one. That was a full minute gone for the side of Hubble Bubble. You do have 4 ults online though against 6 on the beaches 1. So looking at ult economy wise, Hubble Bubble is sure to win this.
They've certainly got the ults in advantage. The question is, will Ducky be able to combine perhaps with Mutnik? What a bio grenade! That's 5 players! Mr. Matthias doesn't even need the Earth Shatter, just marches forward. RK9's Graviton Surge is the one that groups him up, so what a combo play from Hubble Bubble. They're not just throwing every ultimate at it, Slaya. They're picking 1 or 2 at a time, combined with, say, the bio grenade from Shareborne, and it's making mincemeat of their opposition.
Absolutely, and that is exactly the win condition that you need. That just consistency. And with Dipsy Kitty getting another double kill, this is going in the way of Hubble Bubbles even more.
It's the molten core all over the ground. Six on the beach can't even contest the cart. They back off. Then Tipsy Kitty says, okay, fine, I'll high known you out of existence. The cart is less than 2 meters away. It's done. And 1 minute 59 on the clock. That is a stellar Hollywood time bank.
Oh, absolutely. It is getting hot in here, ladies and gentlemen. This is why they're the Summer Games. Look, hey, those were some very close fights in the end there, but like Hubble Bubble just managed to weasel in another pick during that time, and it really came down to those single pick differences at the start of the fight, and like as I said before, with that early pick on Mutnik back at point 2. It really does go to show how much one player missing from your fight can really make a difference in this game.
Especially the Diva. The defense matrix nullifies so much damage. Mutnik comes back late, but and I really appreciate the way Hubble Bubble, they got that pick, and they didn't just say, okay, we'll push the cart and count on 6 on the beach, hanging back and letting us have this free push. They engaged onto the higher ground. So 6 on the beach, I think if Hubble Bubble hadn't gone up to contest them, we might be looking at a very different story. On the second point, Mutnik comes back, of course the Diva just zips up to the higher ground, then an engagement comes through, and it's not looking as clean for Hubble Bubble. But now the pressure is on 6 on the beach. They are on the back foot. They're staring down not only a map deficit, also the monster time bank that Hubble Bubble has set. They need a pretty much perfect run if they want to even take their contest to Hubble Bubble at this rate.
Absolutely, and Hubble Bubble is on the upper leg here. 6 on the beach, you really need to pull together and take a win here. You really need to just get at least 3 points here to continue this game forward to hopefully come in and bring in map number 3.
The high ground approach for 6 on the beach. They're trapped in though, and Hubble Bubble's taking the fight right to them. You see Mr. Matthias throwing the fire strike up through. RK9 is hypercharged 100% plus the Mercy boost. Oh my goodness, you have to fear this. Zarya 100% once again backs off. They're just letting 6 on the beach walk up to them. Hubble Bubble is a solid presence on the point. Immortality field out, but so many players low. Once it's worn away, the tanks are going to be easy pickings for Hubble Bubble. Their own immortality field comes out, but there's no damage even going on to their front line. They churn through 6 on the beach, and the attacking team is sent packing after wasting a whole minute just to touch the point.
Yeah, it really came down to that damage output that was just consistent and very powerful onto 6 on the beach. The shields were gone, there was nothing else to it. You know, it just comes down to RK9 with 100 and the Graviton Surge coming through to start up this second fight.
Catches the front line. Corey responds with a tactical buzzer on the higher ground. Actually clears away the Torbjorn, and the Torbjorn's turret chases down Artemis. The Mercy is able to get away with their life. The rest of the team able to protect their backline capably. Now Hubble Bubble, they've still got plenty of players left. Also ultimates available. They're going to use the amplification matrix will expire for them. Dixon makes their way onto the point, swinging away, looking for something, but there's no one there. Hubble Bubble happy to play the passive game. They don't need everyone and their dog on the point. They can just sit back, let Mr. Matthias be the big presence up front contesting, and 6 on the beach, they just keep falling. They're not able to pick up anything, Slaya, and as a result, we're down under 2 minutes left and 0 progress on the point.
That really is how the game works here. A minute 35 on the clock, and it's just getting more and more. If you're on the side of 6 on the beach, you're just getting more nervous as the second click down. The window comes out, and a bunch of more ults as the fight continues on.
The fire strike through the window annihilates Chairboard. Mr. Matthias out as well. Tipsy responds with the dead eye. The window doesn't protect you, but it don't need to. When Alpha Chat is able to gun down the McCree, the resurrection on the point denied. Artemis gunned down in the middle of that. You're going to see a response. Kai did lay down the Molten Core in the middle of that and able to pick up a couple of quick kills. Dixon responds by taking care of the Torb. Mr. Matthias charges back into the point, but already 2 ticks gained. 4-6 on the beach. Hubble Bubble just looking to waste a little bit more time. I'm okay with this, Slayer. Buy a little bit more time because at the end of the day, you've got the massive time bank to play with.
Dixon ult there really did keep that point in stall. You see them almost touch that point and then Dixon just shattering them down. Nothing else can happen there. You're already on the ground. You can't continue on. Corey, though, a nice high ground ult coming out.
Yeah, Tactical Visor across the bridge, making space, not allowing Hubble Bubble to take any position here. Kai has to run away from the giant hammer. So you get for wielding a tiny little hammer, you get all the big hammers coming and going, no. Now, mate, this is a hammer.
Yeah, as he says, when you're a hammer, everyone else becomes a nail. And Kaijama, he's a really small nail for Dixon to hit.
Also high ground presence, 4-6 on the beach. They're making it very difficult for Hubble Bubble to come out of spawn. They take the wraparound approach. Oh, Matthias, I think got stunned in the middle of that Earth Shatter. Wasn't able to finish it off. However, able to get the fire strike onto Ducky, taking the duel right to Dixon on the cart. Eventually burned down, but it's bought enough space. Kai back in the fight, takes care of Corey. So trade's going away for either team. Mutton going toe-to-toe with the opposing McCree, now hunting down RK9. The self-destruct out. The turret's going to be almost finishing off that mini diva once again. Mutnik able to get back into the mech, so still a brawl on the cart, but Hubble Bubble has plenty of presence yet. And now it's Kai. The Molten Core makes the floor literally lava. 6 on the beach, cannot touch it. The sand is far too hot for them. RK9 finishes off Dixon. And once again, you're going to see 6 on the beach having to back off and rethink their approach.
19 health in the dream. Kaijamo there just emptying that molten load onto the point, making 6 on the beach just back away there. The finesse of playing this tour, but Kaijama has really been showing 6 on the beach and everyone else really how Torb is played.
A few ultimates to play with the 6 on the beach. You're gonna be very hard pressed to use them. Alpha Chad goes very low after popping the Ant Matrix. Able to take care of the turret first off. Valkyrie waiting to Deadeye through the Ant Matrix, but it's not actually going to be required. Artemis Valking in the sky, able to get back into cover in the nick of time. But there's only 3 players for Hubble Bubble left out here. The car is inching its way forward. We may see a last minute contest, but 6 on the beach doing a great job of hemming their opponent into those spawn doors, and that will be that. Second point down, 2 minutes to go, but 6 on the beach, they've got no hope of a superior time bank, if any, Slayer.
Yeah, this is what it's down to now. We need to, if you're 6 on the beach, you need to take this 3rd point. You need to have, you're hoping to have a time bank so you can attempt another push when it comes to your turn. Corey on that sideline trying to get a little bit of damage out, but here we go. We're already back to the main point here and we're starting to see some more ults come out.
Yeah, sorry, 6 on the beach looking to make use of the tactical visor. It's worked for them so far. Out comes Corey once again, but gets flashed in the middle of it. The brawl has been going down on the cart. 6 on the beach able to pick up a couple of kills, but the Hubble Bubble have so many ultimates to play with. Both tanks still there. Arcanine once again on 100 charge, desperately keeping Mr. Matthias in the fight along with Artemis. Finally, the Reinhardt goes down, as does the Mercy. Arcana will have to back off, keeping their charge for the moment, but now here comes 6 on the beach. The charge through from Dixon, not able to finish off the Zarya. The Immortality Field keeps the Ryan in the fight. Arcanine tries second test. 6 on the beach, though, will be able to finish. They finish with, I think, 59 seconds left on the clock, or something just under.
A minute.
But a finish is a finish at this point, and in the end, a respectable time, only a minute behind.
That's got to be one of the best outcomes you could be asking for, especially with that time bank and especially with that early struggle that you had on first point. You really just wanted to get something close enough of a time bank towards Hubble Bubble there, and as you said, only a minute behind. A minute is a good push, so you've only got one more push to be worrying about.
that you do. So pressure definitely on Six on the Beach. They need to repeat what we saw. Was it from them on Kings Row before? They got the, I believe it was the overtime. No, sorry, that might have been the Hubble Bubble match. Whichever the Kings Row match before, we saw the overtime push where the team were able to push through almost 2 or 2.5 points through Kings Row on overtime, and that really set the tone for them. I think that might have been Six on the Beach. Actually, it was, because it was Corey on the Farah. So they've done it before. They had pedigree today. We'll see if they're able to back it up. And they're leaning back on the Soldier 76. I think every time they pushed forward, it was off the back of a great tactical visor from Corey. Ducky there in tow, making sure the damage is amped up as well. So Hubble Bubble, we need to be wary. You're not seeing much changes out of them, those Slayer. So we'll see how this plays out once again, given that Hubble Bubble was able to burn more than a minute off Six on the Beach's time on their A attack.
Yeah, and it's what it's down to. Corey had a lot of just DPS differencing in those past games here. We really need to see some more coming out of Corey here as the fight continues to mature here. We've got a little bit of high ground action, and Mr. Matthias is the first to fall.
Unfortunate, the Reinhardt playing very aggressively, pushed Dixon back. The Immortality Field required to keep the defending Reinhardt in the fight, but now Alpha Chad, the healing has provided the Amplification Matrix online. Dixon, room to swing on the point. We're seeing a rotation from Hubble Bubble up onto the high ground. A couple of trades going either way. We're losing Alpha Chad, and Ducky is going to make things so difficult for Six on the Beach. You trade out for Artemis, though. It's up to Chairborn, the only support left on the field. A Graviton Surge from Arcane on Nazaria once again churning out the damage. This time, overtime will trickle down, but it was a fruitful effort from Six on the Beach. They were able to gain 51%, which means we won't be seeing a draw here on Hollywood. It's either going to be Hubble Bubble going straight to the grand final or a map 3.
This is looking like any type of fight here, ladies and gentlemen, is potentially final fight territory here. Six on the Beach, you're going to need to pull out all the stops that you can. You need to bring out a absolutely monster defense against Hubble Bubble. You did have a bit of a struggle, as you did last time on the attack, but are we going to be able to see something different on the defense here? Is Six on the Beach going to be able to, with that Bastion pick, are we going to be able to see something coming out absolutely just beast mode? Are we going to be able to see Corey coming out? Just a little bit of a
don't
tease.
do this to us, Corey.
No, I was so hyped to see that, but hey, it is what it is. Look, Hubble Bubble, you've got a nice little push going on there. You have that Junkrat, you have that McCree, but Six on the Beach, we're looking at you. You are what can stop this going from 0 to 2 to 2 to 1 even. 5 seconds, around 5 seconds left. We have to defend objective A. 2 minutes are on the clock as we see full setups here. High ground control finally appearing for Six on the Beach as Hubble Bubble. Where are you going to go? To the left we are, and maybe we're going to see a bit of a round.
They're going high ground. We going toe-to-toe. Matthias, as demonstrated already, likes to play the Ryan v Ryan games, but Corey opens up with a massive 2k. Already Hubble Bubble on the back foot. You trade out for the 76, but that's all you get. And of course, the legs will be back in no time.
Yeah, Kai getting a later pick there onto Valkyrie. That's looking a little dangerous, especially when Hubble Bubble are coming back so quickly, and RK9 takes out Ducky.
That's a great start to the fight. You're not going to have a resurrection. Now the pressure is on Six on the Beach. You got to stay in it, but the tanks are already down. Actually, Mutnik are able to save their mech, but it might be too little, too late. Hubble Bubble, they got the numbers in it. Corey, seeing stars. Oh, and Arcanine, the lone grab onto the returning Valkyrie. Hubble Bubble, so confident, and why not? They are through to the grand final.
Ladies and gentlemen, what a game that was, but Hubble Bubble just came out on top, and Mr. Matthias, a play of the game for you, sir.
Standout play from the Reinhardt, ultra aggressive, but the team was there, able to back them up. This is another great example. The nano boost combined with the grab and a nice bio grenade over the top sees that defense crumble. Brilliant play, but I was really impressed with the way a lot of the way Hubble Bubble was playing. We didn't see too much Hubble Bubble double bubble, which I was looking forward to saying ad nauseum. But I think from a lot of the teams today, out of a lot of the teams today, I think they were the one that showed some of the most different looks. You do get some points where the players kind of locking on a hero. So a lot of Mercy being played. But I was particularly interested in the way Artemis is playing. Sometimes you see someone come in there just a Lucio, mainly play Lucio, mainly play Mercy. But for Hubble Bubble, Artemis playing a lot of both where it suited the composition. I think that's largely what got them across the line. Their overall team customizability, being able to run the right composition for the right arena of the map, made all the difference for them.
Yeah, and with that as well, hey, it's... Sorry there. Yes, that would be me. But hey, with the, as you said, that versatility of Hubble Bubble, it really just, well, humbled the enemy teams wherever they could. And there wasn't just one thing that they were good at. And that's where I think a lot of their power did come from. They were able to just take anything that they were able to and just mix and match where they were really going to be stronger on in that point. And in the end, they just outclassed Six on the Beach tonight to take themselves to a secure spot in the grand final.
They did. Also, looking back, another comment on that flexibility, RK9 is a player I've seen before. A bit of tank, but mainly lots of time on support as well. So seeing them coming onto this off-tank role was gratifying to see, particularly that Xayah. It was sublime, constantly above 90% charge, churning out the damage. You saw some lightning-fast Graviton surges built up, and that's, in the end, it's that combination of players that has resulted in Team Hubble Bubble. As you can see there, already in the grand final. They get the biggest gap possible. They get to watch all the action tomorrow, analyze all their opponents, and they're already in the money spots. We've got those prizes for the top three. The first top team, I believe, gets the awesome statues, one for each player on the team. So Hubble Bubble, they're already in the money. The question is, how far are they going to go? Which prize are they going to walk away with?
Are they going to have some hoodies? Or are they going to have some really cool statues? It's up to... It really just comes down to tomorrow's performance and who really is just going to come out on top. As you did see, everyone's still in the game. And that's not going to change until tomorrow. So maybe some of the players, maybe some of the teams that had a bit more time off today were really just putting their heads down, focusing up, and really just studying on how their opponents play and being able to maybe take a little bit of a finesse with them to tomorrow's games, which we're going to actually be opening up with tomorrow. But hey, we have a interview coming in, ladies and gentlemen, with the one and the only Baby Poro. So, look, Baby Poro, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good.
That's good, that's good. Hey, look, I've got to ask your Contenders experience. I remember you playing sometime around in 2018. It's like, how was that for you?
So it was good. Like, we definitely got better towards the end, and like I always enjoyed playing with my team. It was always fun.
Now that's a lot of the fun with Overwatch. Honestly, you're able to bring in new synergies with your teammates, and you just have this new sense of, I think, just camaraderie with a lot of friends that you do make in this game.
I wrote down
the
facts for him. I wrote as much as I could.
Did you expect to get far in the tournament as you have already with the wins? And your thoughts on tonight's games so far?
Honestly, I didn't have any expectations. I didn't really know like what the games would be like or how well the teams would perform, because I haven't played Overwatch for like a month now, so I'm a bit like, I don't even like. I had to quickly ask my friend. I'm like, "What's meta? What should I play?" Like, so yeah, I basically just woke up, got on, and tried my best.
That's all like everyone can ask for anyone that's playing tonight, is coming in, doing your best shot, coming in, having some fun, you know, and potentially make some new friends along the way. But In your personal opinion, what team has been the most challenging to verse so far?
Oh, the team we just versed, Hubble Bubble. They were, yeah, they did way better than I, like, ever thought. Like, the DPS were just rolling us. Like, I haven't really felt much pressure yet from like DPS players. I'm like, maybe like DPS roles like falling off, but yeah, after that game, fuck, like the DPS were pumping.
Yeah, look, hey, the DPS are one thing, the rest of the team's another, but hey, look, it's a little weird where everything sits at this point. But yeah, so, do you have any fighting words for the next match that you're going to be coming up in to the, potentially come and redeem yourself against Hubble Bubble tomorrow?
Yeah, I believe that we can come back. Like, we just need to, like, figure out how to play against, like, faster comms, because we get a bit scattered, and I think, like, under pressure, we were, like, quaking, like, we were, like, falling apart under pressure. I think as soon as we, like, you know, like, take a breather, like, fix our mistakes, and, like, learn to play a bit against, faster comms, like, spam comms and stuff, we should be alright.
You know, take a breather, take a breath is like really a takeaway that I think a lot of people are going to be taking home tonight. Thank you again so much, Baby Poro, for coming in for the interview. Do you have any parting words?
Yeah, shout out to Josh.
Shout outs to Josh. Be in chat potentially. Hey.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
hey, maybe we'll see in a few moments. Hey, but yeah, coming back to Temporalic, I think that will have to be it for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I've been Slaya. Temporalic's been here with me as well. And don't forget, tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow is another set of contestants. Not another set. Same people. I'm getting ahead of myself here, honestly. Same people coming in, but that's for the next Rumble. Yeah, same people, same community. But hey, it's definitely going to be a challenging one coming into the losers bracket. It is win or lose.
Yep, you're right. And as you said before, no one's gone home, but that will all change tomorrow. There's only going home tomorrow. There's no other option. And remember, you can check out all these creators that have played today. Check out, I think Sarah Jane tweeted all the teams out. Go find her Twitter. If you've seen anyone's play you like, go check them out. There's heaps of great entertainers in the ANZ region, so plenty to watch for, no matter what game, what kind of style you're looking for.
Yeah, hey, and that's what it is. Everyone that has come in, if you liked how they played, you know, if you liked their little funkiness that they gave during the plays themselves, definitely there is a full list available from Sarah Jane, who graciously did bring everyone together for this tournament. So thank you so much for doing that, Sarah Jane. But hey, look, for tonight, I think that's going to have to be it.
That's right. Yep. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. I'm Temporal, that's Slaya. We had Abby running production for most of the day. On behalf of everyone here, thank you, and don't miss out tomorrow, 1 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. We kick off the lower bracket, and by the end of the day, someone will goddamn win.
Yeah, definitely. And hey, yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you all so much for coming in. See you tomorrow.